You know what? We should do that, man. We should make that a tradition of the Hot Tag Podcast.
Shit
Every
in the bag?
wrestler that we get on the show, we should ask them why they're fascinated by shit.
Where was I? I got lost.
Oh, you're talking about drugs.
Oh, Ric Flair. A ladder match, not to grab a title, not to grab a contract, but to grab a duck.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's good.
Why is that good, though? Why?
duck.
Why? I need to know why.
Why on a pole? That is smart. There you go.
Fucking prick. He has one fucking move. What's up with that?
Can't be traced back to that goddamn company.
Was this the first time that Ric Flair was on TV?
If I remember correctly, it was October of '98. I don't remember.
Oh, don't even say that, man. How the fuck do you know that?
Yeah, September 14th, 1998. Yeah.
I would have fucked me off.
I don't know what you've been doing for the last 40 years or the last year. What do you mean? What the fuck have you been doing?
Drinking?
All right, that explains your love for beer and shotguns.
Yeah, suck it. Fuck you. This bullshit. Fuck you. Fuck you.
WCW for you, man. Botching, shooting, not literally like Chirac, Chicago shooting, you know, like wrestling shooting.
You want to high spot some pussy and then hashtag beat up John Cena?
Sit the fuck down. You understand me? Sit the fuck down.
Tommy loves my Nicole Bass.
Don't you, Tommy?
Suck my left dick. Suck my left nut, you bitches. Suck it.
Why are you out of breath, man? What are you eating off before you call in? What the fuck are you doing?
No, because I was running to get this damn coffee. Don't worry.
John Cena tries to do Hurricane Rana and almost kills himself.
The champ is here!
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Sit the fuck down. You understand me? Sit the fuck down. WWE. Fuck you, mother. Fuck you. Can't be traced back to that goddamn company. This really pissed me off because it is bullshit. Vince Russo, of all people, Vince Russo is full of shit. Suck my left dick. Suck my left nut, you bitches. Suck it. Yeah, suck it.
THT Podcast, live Wednesdays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Mixlr.com/THT Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, YouTube, and TuneIn Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back Wednesday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Hot Tag Podcast. We're back on Mixlr.com/THT Podcast every Wednesday, 9:30 p.m., same time. And tonight we got a very special guest. One of my favorites killing the indies right now. We got none other than Tony Deppen. What's going on, dude?
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's you know, I've been watching you for probably a year and a half or so, I would say. I'm local, so I'm in the Philadelphia area. I guess you're from Pennsylvania, right?
Yes, I'm from Harrisburg.
Oh, okay. So you're a little farther.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the Northeast independent scene. I've been watching you when Game Changer, CZW, mostly On Point, I guess. But you know, it's kind of cool to see you grow and go from On Point to CZW, which, you know, On Point to me is kind of like CZW's NXT, if you will.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Essentially, now that's what it is. You know, because you're at On Point. DJ's keeping his eyes on you because he's close with Matt and close with Loudy, and just kind of escalate from there.
Right. So were you like a fan of the independents, being around the area?
Yeah, I've been watching indie wrestling since about 2002, 2003, roughly.
Okay. So around the golden era, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, were you going to any of the CZW shows, Jersey All Pro, anything like that?
I was going more to like the Shikara shows because where my location is.
Right.
Philly's, for me, like when I run the arena every month, that was a 3-hour drive for me.
Yeah.
Compared to Reading for Shikara, it's like an hour and a half. I'd go to some CZW shows. My buddy and I would always make sure we go to Tournament of Death. Obviously, we always want to go there. But like, I didn't go to too many CZW shows, to be honest. And, like, I loved watching CZW. It got me into independent wrestling.
Yeah.
I just was never able to make it down in that general direction at the time.
Now, was CZW always like a goal of yours?
Oh, yeah. As soon as I started in 2009, and one of my biggest goals was to wrestle for CZW. I had some friends working for CZW at the time. I'm not sure if you remember the Best Around, Bruce Maxwell and TJ Cannon.
I do not, to be honest.
They're CZW tag champs in like 2010 or something like that, and they were working there. And after talking to Bruce all the time, I was just like, man, that's where I really want to go. That'd be so much fun just to wrestle for CZW because I've been watching it for so long and everything.
Yeah, definitely. CZW, obviously, from the outside looking in, for the guys that go to the shows on the regular basis, like myself and some of the other people. I know you're friends with Andrew, so he's a regular also. We obviously know CZW is a nice mesh of wrestling. It's got a nice balance. It's got the actual, the hard hitting style. It's got a little bit of the lucha, high flying, if you will. Ultra violence, of course. It's been a part of the culture. But from the outside looking in, most people just automatically assume every match is hardcore, everything is ultra violence. And I haven't seen you in any ultra violent matches. Did you always see yourself fitting into that style? Because obviously you fit in now because you're pretty hard hitting, so it fits right in. But did you always see yourself with that kind of style, or is that just something that happened along the lines?
I don't really know. When I first started out wrestling, I really liked the Shikara style, like the lucha style. I loved everything about it, like the little intricate things that they do and such stuff like that. So I felt when I first started, I would have much rather been in Shikara just because the way that they did their matches. But as time progressed, I would much rather be in like a CZW setting, and the atmosphere is a lot better because Shikara is great and everything, but it just seems too wacky for me.
Yeah, to be honest, I never got into Chikara. It's probably nothing against them, to each his own, but it was never really my style.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Like the stuff's great, but I just feel me as a wrestler, like who I am, would not mesh well in what they do currently.
Yeah, that's
and it's not knocking anything that Quack does because what he has built is phenomenal, but I just don't see myself doing well there.
Yeah, that's understandable. Any like arenas, maybe the ECW arena, I guess Rahway Rec Center in Rahway, New Jersey, the Elks Lodge, which is no longer, I guess. Which of the arenas, obviously you being a fan, did you always want to wrestle in?
It'd probably the ECW arena. That'd be like one of the biggest ones to wrestle, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a lot of wrestlers' goals, so.
Yeah, I honestly thought you were going to make it to the Acid Cup. I thought they were going to put you through, and because you and Janela, I think in the finals or semifinals would have been awesome.
The thing is, yes, there's nothing against Brett or Danny, nothing personal to be honest. It was just a business-related thing. That's why I decided to do another thing. It was just business-related. Like I have nothing against Danny and Brett. They're putting on great shows from what I've gathered from reviews for GCW. So I'm happy for them. Like they're doing their thing, and I'm happy for them. There's no hard feelings. A lot of people feel that there might be some form of heat between us, but from my point of view, it's not. But I don't know about them. If Brett and I see each other, we're cordial. We're not rude to each other. So I haven't seen Danny, but
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, speaking of GCW, you wrestled. I was at the show. I believe it was Azrael. Obviously he's a Jersey All-Pro guy. Been around for quite some time. And speaking of venues, that was my first, or actually that was my second time. The first time was Tournament of Survival, but that's one of the venues that I really love. I think Game Changer World is it speaks to me, man. It's just like a perfect wrestling venue. You know what I mean? And any thoughts of wrestling in there? Because the atmosphere, it's very close up. That the guardrail is 3 feet away.
Yeah, I really enjoy that atmosphere. I don't like where there's a huge gap between the ring and the fans because I like to involve the fans around me no matter what. Like I like to make them feel like they're part of the show, and I feel like that's one of the things I do best, at least. And I can't flip or do any crazy shit that some people do, but I always make the fans feel like they're involved. So a more close-fitting atmosphere is great for me. The Game Changers World, I thought it was fun, but when I was there for Tournament Survival as well, and it just sucked sitting because I was like 4 rows back, so you couldn't see everything as great as you'd like to, but it's still awesome.
Yeah, man, I really do love that venue, and dude, four rows back, I would have no problems because. Sitting inside with 444 light tubes, I'm good, man. I'd rather sit.
I don't care. We went to King of the Deathmatch 2014, and we sat front row, and the glass was shooting at me left and right, stabbed me. I was bleeding. I was just like, yeah, whatever.
Well, Oh,
That's what I like. I like deathmatch wrestling. I love it. I won't do it, but I love it.
Well, that was actually going to be my next question, man. I mean, a lot of people have said they won't do it, including Joey Janela, which we'll get into in a second. After the spot he did with Zandig at TOS, he said he wasn't going to do deathmatch wrestling again. And a couple weeks ago, I was at Cage of Death, and what do you know? Joey Janela, he's in the Cage of Death. Do you see yourself changing your mind in the future?
I'll never say never. I can tell you that much. It would have to be the right time and the right, because I just don't want to. I wouldn't just jump into it. If somebody messages me like, "Hey, you want to deathmatch?" I'd be like, I'm not gonna say, "Oh yeah, sure." It just has to be built up properly. I want it to make sense, and I want it to mean something.
Yeah, well, I'm gearing more towards like a Cage of Death type of event. You know what I mean? Cage of Death is
if
basically
it was with the right
WrestleMania.
people too, because also with deathmatch stuff, I don't know, I'm very picky on some people that I would like to wrestle in deathmatch, so it would have to be with the right person. Like if I had to pick anybody, it'd probably be either Tremont or Cannonball, because those two are the best right now, besides Danny Havoc. But I'm closer with Matt and Jeff. So
yeah. I mean Joey is another guy that the first time that I saw you live in CZW was against Joey, and it was a really good match. I thought the crowd was fucking dead for the night. That crowd was dead as hell the whole night, but. It's because I guess they had a doubleheader or whatever the TV tapings.
Oh yeah, the doubleheaders drained the shit out of everybody.
Right. And which is the ironic part is I've had DJ on the show several times, and I've always said this to him is like, dude, there's something wrong when the TV tapings are free, and I skip on the TV tapings to come in to pay for the actual event. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to sit there for 9 hours of wrestling. It's too much.
God, no.
Free or not, I'd pay you not to watch 9 hours of it.
It's way too much, and then you're sitting there all day, and you're one general location, and it's tiring. Because a couple years ago, I went to WXW and Best of the Best doubleheader.
Yeah.
And during the Briscoes and Devin Moore and I forget who else were tag titles, I was falling asleep on the bleachers. I almost fell off the bleachers because I was that tired.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Good thing you didn't go to one of the Mass Maniac shows. The USA Pro shows, they used to be like 9 hours long from what I hear.
Oof. Jesus Christ.
Run until like 1 o'clock in the morning, man. I could not do it. Whoever did it, you're the man. I can't do it. I don't have it in me.
Not a chance.
Speak of some promotions that you'd like to wrestle in. Obviously, you've done On Point, you've done CZW now. What are some other promotions that you'd like to ultimately tap into?
Legacy Wrestling, which is located in Manheim, Pennsylvania, which is about 20 minutes from Harrisburg. And then another one in Berwick. It's a couple of my friends run it. It's a newer company, but it's called True Wrestling. I have a lot of fun there. It's just a lot of my friends that I grew up with in the business, and it's just a great time. I always have fun, always a good atmosphere. They get good crowds, so I can't complain. But those CZW, On Point, True, and Legacy are the four main ones that I love wrestling. And then the rest of the companies I work for are just odds and ends ones that are asked me to come in and work. And I'm like, okay, I'm wrestling at VOW in March. That's just a random one that pops up. And that's just normally how it goes for me. I do that my main four every month, and then I have odds and ends.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see you in Beyond Wrestling. Someone like you.
I've known Drew, the guy that's run Beyond, for about 10, 11 years now. Just never got a chance to go up there.
Yeah. That's cool. But, obviously, there's a lot of new guys coming out, including yourself, Joey Janela, Chris Dickinson. And there's a newer guy that seems to be getting over. And I've known him for some time now, prior to CZW. And, to be honest, I like the guy. I'd consider him a friend of mine before even I knew he was a wrestler. But I still think he's green. I don't really think he's ready to be out there. But I just want to get your opinion on that. Jimmy Lloyd, he seems to be really over with the crowd. What are your thoughts on him?
Jimmy's a great guy. He's very nice. I met Jimmy. Well, when I went to King of Deathmatch in Indiana, apparently he drove out with Gage or something like that. I have no idea. And Jimmy's just staring at my buddies and I, and just blank staring. We thought he was just a slow kid or something like that, because he was just blank staring at us. Like, this kid's fucking weird. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck's with him?
Yeah.
And he comes up to me, he's like, you're from Pennsylvania. I was like, how do you know? He's like, that shirt you have on, it's a wrestler from Pennsylvania. I was just like, okay, odd. Fast forward to, I went to a Dojo Wars show, and Jimmy's there wrestling. I text Andrew, because that's who I went out there with, the kid that comes to CCW.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, dude, remember that kid that we saw King of Deathmatch? He's like, yeah. I'm like, he's a wrestler. He's like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, no, dude, I'm serious. But, like, I've wrestled Jimmy in a six-way. We didn't really do much, but
Yeah.
he's very green. And I just don't, I feel his biggest problem is he's trying to get over by doing stupid shit really early.
Yeah.
I fear that he's going to hurt himself one day, and I don't want that because he's 18, 19 years old, and he's got a long career ahead. So I want him to like slow it down. I wish he wouldn't do some of the shit he does, but that's his life, not mine. So if he wants to do it, go for it. But me looking in, I'm just like, fuck, man, you need to calm down a little bit. You're only 18. You don't want to hurt yourself, seriously.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people.
I was just saying what I was saying to you. And my girlfriend looks at me and goes, Jimmy? And I said, yeah. And she didn't hear who we were talking about, just because she knows.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, honestly, I mean, I agree with you, man. I like him. I like the kid. And, I definitely see potential. I mean, he has passion for it. You can tell. Because, I mean, what 18-year-old kid jumps in no-rope barbed wire matches just off the top? And that's not a complete backyarder. But I do agree with you.
I feel that Jimmy, in a few years, with just, like, the right head on her shoulders, Jimmy could be the next Sami Callihan, easily. And I've said that to him before. I was like, dude, you could be the next Sami Callihan.
Got to get a new outfit,
I don't know,
man. Got to get a new outfit.
Obviously. Well, did you see what Sami Callihan looked like when he first came into wrestling?
Right,
He was a pudge ball, like Jimmy.
Big.
So I just see some of Sami and Jimmy, and like if Jimmy really like sticks to it, I feel he could be like that. And I've told him that multiple times. But I just hope he doesn't hurt himself. That's all. That's all. He can do that stuff. I just don't want him to hurt himself. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you go in the ring. Yeah, you go in the ring with Nate Hatred and light tubes and off you'll get hurt. You know.
Yeah,
no,
it's bound to happen.
Yeah, exactly, it's bound to happen. Nick Gage getting out. Any interest in wrestling him?
I don't know. Like, if it was booked, I'd do it. You know, it's not. I don't really know because I've the only time I've talked to Nick was as a fan, and he was great and super nice to me. So I don't know how it is wrestling with him. So because I know sometimes there are two different people that you meet. There's the fan version, and then there's the wrestler side that you meet. But if somebody booked it, I'm not going to say I'm not taking the booking because that's just stupid of me. You're not going to sit there and tell a promoter what to do.
Right. Yeah. You know, a lot of guys from CZW have made it on to be, you know, television stars like Drew Gulak, Rich Swann, you know, of course Moxley, Dean Ambrose. Everybody knows about that. Even Luke Harper, when he was Brody Lee, he was doing Chikara and plenty of CZW. Yeah. Did you have any interactions with those guys? I mean, Moxley was probably before, obviously, you started, but Gulak, did you have any interaction with him?
Oh yeah, I've had plenty of interactions with Gulak. I met him 5-6 years ago at a Quackenbush seminar. And, you know, we had like little matches afterwards, and Drew pulled me aside, and Drew was just giving me compliments and also giving me things to work on, blah, blah, blah. Very nice, respectful, which I was surprised. I was like, oh man, he's going to be a dick to me because of the match, blah, 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 but he's super cordial and everything. And then I saw him again at Dojo Wars a year and a half ago, and he said something, and I was like, oh, we met before. He goes, oh yeah, I remember you. He's like, we met at the Mike Quackenbush seminar and blah, blah, blah. I was surprised he remembered me, and every time I see him, he's just super nice to me and very respectful. I don't know why. And then a couple months ago, I wrestled Fire Ant, and Fire Ant is close with Drew. And Fire Ant said to Drew, he's like, oh, I'm wrestling a kid named Tony Deppen. You know, he's like, oh, yeah, Tony and I are good buddies. He's like, tell him I said hi. And I was just like, oh, okay, cool.
Nice.
Like, so Drew's great.
Yeah.
You know, I think the biggest problem about Drew, and if you talk to anybody that has met Drew or talks to Drew, you don't understand him sometimes, like the way he delivers his message. You don't know if he's being an asshole or he's just being Drew. Like, he comes off as someone that's condescending at times. You're like, wait, did he just say that in a mean way, or is he just being himself?
Yeah, I know.
And I had an interaction with him a couple months ago, and I was standing with Wheeler Yuta, and we were talking about how Drew responds to people. And then after Drew said something, as I looked at him, I was like, that's what we're talking about. He's like, oh, yeah. He's like, that's why I just kind of shut up.
Yeah, he's a good dude. But I thought, his most recent gimmick with his brother, Rory, doing the Amazing Gulags, that was probably his most defined gimmick where there was no confusion. You know what I mean? There was no gray area.
Yeah.
You knew what the gimmick was. And I think that would work in WWE, man. I mean, Rory, obviously, Little Mondo, it'd be weird to see him on NXT someday. But, I like Rory, though. But it's weird to me, man. That's why I was asking you this question, because it's still surreal to see guys that, I had seen month in and month out. And, over the years, you build relationships with these wrestlers, and it's weird, man. It's almost like seeing, like, oh, I fucking see this guy more than, most of my family. This is like, this dude's on TV every week now,
Yeah. When Andrew and I went to Tournament of Death in 2009, I think. What was the year that Brain Damage wrestled Moxley? Was that 2009?
They all meshed together with me, man. I have no clue.
It was that one. I can't remember. But Drew wasn't keeping up with CCW as lately, and Moxley comes out. He goes, "Who's this guy?" I wasn't the biggest fan of Moxley, and I was like, he's okay. I was like, but I guarantee you, in like 5 years, he's going to be the biggest thing in WWE. He goes, "You think?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, he just has that factor about him, and he's like, "Oh, we'll see about that." And now, look where he's at, because he had everything about him. He could talk on the mic. His ring work was good, and he just had a character. Yeah. And now he's doing great for himself, which is awesome.
Yeah, I actually wish they obviously they can't use the name Switchblade Conspiracy, but I think Callahan, if he would have stuck around and they put him in a tag team with Dean Ambrose during this downtime, because obviously, you get a push and then have to relax for a little bit, let some other guy go. During that time, if they would have made him a tag team and kind of got Sammy over and introduced him that way with Ambrose, I thought that would have been cool, man. That would have been a nice little nod to, CZW and the independents.
Oh, most definitely. That would have been really cool to see, but Sammy parted his ways because he had different plans, and,
Yeah.
I have a feeling Sammy will be back in a few years. He's redefining himself on the indies, and then the WWE's going to take notice again, easily.
Yeah, he's a cat now, so it's good. It's good stuff. But real quick, you were talking about the deathmatch scene and how you were a big fan of deathmatch wrestling. Name some of the guys that I don't want to say idolize because that's a little weird, but some of the guys that you looked up to and thought were great at what they did, which was obviously deathmatch wrestling. Could be Japan, Mexican, whatever.
For United States-wise, I'd say I was always a big fan of Necro because he didn't have to do deathmatch, and it was fantastic. He just went out there and beat the shit out of people.
Right.
But Necro, Masada, I like Mondo, but then essentially it just got to the point like, okay, dude, you're going to kill yourself with these bumps.
Yeah.
So, Toby Klein's probably up there. One of my favorites. And he's the nicest fucking guy in the world, too.
Yeah.
So I'd say Toby, Masada, and Necro were top three United States-wise. And you go up to Canada, I was a big IWS fan. The Evil Ninjas were fantastic. Arsenal and Viking. I'm happy. I was pumped that Viking came to Survival of the Sickest. I super marked over that. And Green Phantom, because he did King of Deathmatch a few years ago.
Yeah.
So that was cool to see them live.
Yeah.
And then Japanese, I'd say Ito and Kobayashi, obviously. Like, they were fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you can't go wrong with Kasai. So.
Yeah. Now, obviously, all these guys that you named are from, within now's time to about probably a decade ago. Were you ever a fan of, like, FMW, IWA, Onita, Mr. Pogo, those kind of guys?
I watched it, but not as much as a couple of my friends. Like, I know who Onita is.
Right.
I was never a fan of Mr. Pogo. I absolutely despise Mr. Pogo, actually.
Why is that?
When we watched his match, he was just some fat guy walking around with a sickle. That's what I don't like about him. Like, I don't know. I was never into them. Like, and some of the matches were kind of like far-fetched, just as well as Big Japan's earlier stuff. It was like really weird, like alligator in a
Matsunaga, man.
pit match, and yeah, just,
Lobster
some of that
matches.
stuff was weird to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. FMW, like, I'll watch it. Like, I have a few DVDs of FMW, but I was never big into it.
Nice. What about New Japan? I mean, from your style, I can tell you're probably a big Japanese guy.
I like in between like 2009 or something like that. I got huge in New Japan. Tried to watch anything and everything of New Japan. So I just actually pretty much anything in Japanese. Like the only independents I watched from the United States at the time in 2009, 2010 was the PWG and Shikara. Other than that, it was all Japanese wrestling.
Nice. Well, what do you have coming up, man? I know, obviously, you're doing Masters of the Mat with On Point again. What other shows you got coming up?
Well, Masters of the Mat was 3 weeks ago.
Shit, well, I'm behind time.
I actually
Is it the anniversary show that's coming up?
Yeah, the anniversary.
Okay, I'm mixing them up. Okay, there
I'll be wrestling the anniversary show against Joey Janela in an I Quit match, so that should be a little fun. Then I have the CZW show on the 14th. After that, I actually have a break, thank God, because I've been wrestling nonstop for like 3 months now, and I just need a break to like decompress and just relax and heal my body up. And then after that, it's pretty much I have VOW, little odds and ends companies, On Point again, CZW again. Just it seems like it's a never-ending cycle, which is a good thing because it's a lot of fun at times. The only thing I hate about it is driving to the shows. If I could teleport to shows, wrestling would be the greatest thing in the world, but that's not happening.
Not yet.
Yeah, my limit.
Oh yeah, and I'm going up to Canada in February as well for C4, which I'm really excited for. It'd be the first time I wrestled in Canada.
Yeah, that'll be nice. I actually remember the Masters of the Mat. I watched the clip with where you won the title and Janela tried to attack you backstage. I thought that was a nice little touch to it. Which is cool because smaller companies like On Point, it's cool when they start to do the backstage vignettes and the promos and etc. Because typically those type of companies they just stick to the in-ring work and next match. It kind of gets boring after a while. So
it's a great way to create buzz for your company and keep everybody interested instead of just saying, "Hey, come to our shows. We have this match happening." Like have some build behind it, which I enjoy.
It's good for YouTube too. Get those subscribers. Yep, you got it. All right, buddy. Anything else you want to plug?
Not really. I plugged all the companies that I really enjoy, like On Point. If you don't go to On Point shows, like if you're a CCW fan, which I know a lot of CCW fans go to On Point, but if you don't, check out On Point shows because they're killing it. They have a good mix of wrestling and deathmatch. The next show, there's a new school bull rope match, which instead of having the bell on the rope, it's a cheese grater between Tremont and True Blood, and then G Raver and Cannonball are working, and that's just probably gonna be hell. I think it's like cinder blocks and carpet strips.
Oh,
so that's gonna be brutal.
Yeah.
But then, like Legacy, if you're in Central Pennsylvania, they have a great mix of today's indie stars and the future of indie stars. Like every show is fantastic. It's top to bottom. Wrestling-wise, I'd say just as good as CZW shows are, but it's just in Central Pennsylvania. And then True Wrestling, that's more the northeastern part of Pennsylvania, all young kids. That's pretty much what it is. When you look at it from the standpoint that from not me, I'm the veteran. I've only wrestling for 6.5 years because these are a lot of new kids coming up, and they're just going out there and killing themselves and killing on the shows just to try to build the product and themselves, which is great.
Nice. All right, man. Well, thank you for coming on the show. Appreciate it. It was fun talking to you, and I'll see you at CZW.
Thank you for having me.
All right, dude. Later.
See you.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we shall be back in a few minutes. With that said, that was Tony Deppen. Once again, thanks to him for coming on the show. Quick plugs. Join us on Facebook, facebook.com/group/THT podcast. Follow us on Twitter. That little bird thing. Click on that. Follow us on there, THT podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, and TuneIn Radio, as well as YouTube. And listen to us on WrestlingSoup.com. Check them out. I believe Mish is coming back. I don't know what's going on. But if not, Joey's probably going to be doing a solo show. Check them out every Thursday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. WrestlingSoup.com and Yakuza Kick Radio. blogtalkradio.com/Yakuza every Wednesday, 9 p.m. J-Cat, go check him out. He's got a lot of interviews on there talking on some CZW. I know he's got Sozio on the podcast tonight, reviewing Cage of Death 18 with him. So I'll have to listen to that on the replay, and you can do the same on the archives. We will be back.
There you go.
The ring, the field the war, that's where they lay the law. Lay the law, once again, prepare for war. CCW, an opera, to live is to die, and fear denied.
I'm Sick Nick Mondo, and this is THT Podcast.
All right, and we are back on the hot tag. Thanks once again, Tony Deppen, for coming on. Appreciate your time. And right now, Shaheen is taking a little dinner break, and I've got Anthony with me. What's up, Anthony?
What's going on, Box? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem, man. Just, you know what? I'm just going to say I'm doing fine. We just had this discussion off air. I'm doing fine. I'm just going to say that. I'm doing great. How's that?
Yeah, I woke up this morning. I got nothing. I can't complain, but who would listen?
Yeah.
I can't complain too much.
No, not worth complaining. Now, Anthony.
Yep.
Did you watch Roadblock End of the Line Sunday?
I'll be completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
I have not, as of yet.
You have not. All right.
I just watched Raw, so obviously I know what happened on the show, but no. This week, for the most part, I've been wrestling out. I mean, I don't know. I got off late, first off. And by the time I got home, it was just like, it was such a chore to have to set up my computer, load up the network, and I just said, fuck it. It was pretty much a predictable pay-per-view in terms of like who won, who lost. It was no major surprises.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I'll run it down real fast. It won't take long. Rusev defeated Big Cass by count out. It was kind of a bullshit match. Lana looks better every fucking week. Jesus Christ. Cesaro and Sheamus did end up taking the belts off the New Day. I believe we said it was time, so good. Sami Zayn, Braun Strowman, he did survive the 10-minute time limit. That match wrote itself. That match was exactly the way I'm sure 90% of wrestling fans knew it was going to go, the way it did. Rollins defeated Chris Jericho. Great match. Rich Swann defeated Brian Kendrick and T.J. Perkins. I know, look, I'm not trying to put the cruiserweights down, but I've seen Kendrick and T.J. Perkins in a ring enough the past month that if they did not wrestle again ever, I would be just fine with that. Obviously, that was a triple threat for the cruiserweight. Rich Swann retained. Charlotte Flair took the belt off of Sasha in a 30-minute Iron Man women match, whatever, for the title. Great match, by the way. Sasha has become the Dolph Ziggler of the women's division. She bumps. Dude, I'm sorry. This girl, Sasha, works her ass off. She bumps her ass off and gets treated like secondary material. Just, we'll put the title on. Right when people get like, all right, I'm glad they finally get the title on, they're like, Charlotte's Flair. You know, she's a Flair. Let's put it on Charlotte. I really feel like Sasha is being treated like Dolph Ziggler of the women's division.
Word around the campfire is Vince isn't too high on her for whatever reason. Who knows?
Which is weird because they usually love anybody with a celebrity, what should I say, tie-in. They're usually all over. I mean, come on, let's face it, and I've said this 1,000 times. Why do you think David Otunga still has a job in WWE? He's not good at anything.
Come on. You don't think he adds to the commentary? You don't think he adds to the black excellence of commentary?
Sure, I'm sure that's why they got a fourth announcer on there. Well,
But I will say this. Say what you want about Otunga, but for whatever reason, I don't picture him. He doesn't allow himself to be the doormat that Saxton does over on Raw. I will give him that.
yeah, he just shuts the fuck up and says less. And when he does speak, he gets his ass torn apart for it. Look, dude, they added a whole nother guy. Basically, I could see this meeting. Well, we can't take the token black guy off, but we could just add another white dude, right? Can you not see this?
I don't know. They trying to push. Think they trying to push Ronaldo out? Because they don't need. I mean, that's overkill. You don't need 4 people on the behind the booth.
No, it's ridiculous. And if they're trying to push Morrow out, that's the worst thing they could do. I'll be honest, just him and
I would go for him and JBL.
I
think
believe it or not, I would.
Pretty well.
As much as I don't like JBL, I would go with him and JBL too. But him and anyone else would be fine. I would even say Morrow and Michael Cole might even be tolerable.
No. You know who he had good chemistry with before they pulled him?
Brian.
Him and Lawler. Him and Lawler was actually turning into something.
Him and Daniel Bryan were good on the tournament too. So, but anyway, that was the Charlotte Flair Sasha Banks match. Charlotte Flair obviously champion. Kevin Owens obviously retained from Roman Reigns. Good move, because I'm going to tell you right now, if Roman Reigns won that match, that crowd was going to be slightly less than happy. They hated Roman Reigns. With a passion.
So it was a smart city, huh? One of those smart cities?
Yeah. Well, smart enough to know that definitely they shouldn't let Roman. I don't know what they're doing with Roman. I really think this quote-unquote experiment with Roman Reigns needs to just be chalked up to a failure. It's a failure. The crowd will not get behind him until you turn him heel. I don't care how much you have him come out there, smile, and lick his lips. For every fucking mom out there who likes him, there's probably 100 fucking people out there who hate him. For every I don't care how many soccer moms are out there getting wet for him. Trust me, they're not the ones fucking buying his fucking shit. But go ahead, Anthony.
No, I was just sitting here thinking, but don't you think at this point, if they turn him heel, all that's going to do is just flip-flop the reactions? Because the Smarks would, I hate saying the term Smarks, but they would have, in effect, got what they wanted, and they'll cheer him anyway. Kind of like, I guess Cena is too late now. He is what he is at this point, but if they had turned Cena 5 years ago, they would have just flip-flopped the crowd reactions.
I don't think it would have even 5 years ago. I really don't. I think that if they turned Cena heel 5 years, I think if they turn him heel now, it's going to be even more of a mistake. Especially with him being part-time, I think it's going to be a big mistake. At this point, it's too late. It's too late. And I'm already seeing the dirt sheets. Well, serious considerations from Cena returning as a heel. Fuck you, he's returning as a heel. Yeah, he probably already went out and spent $5,000 on heel gear. Fuck you. He's not turning heel. No matter what, part-time or not, the guy still is out there doing Make-A-Wish. He's out there doing your media. He's out there doing Total Divas.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I can't take any more of that type of bullshit. I just play a bad guy on TV, but in real life, I love the kids. I can't take any more. It pisses me off when Steph does it and they do it off the air. We're not really bad guys.
Well,
we just play bad guys on TV. I can't do that shit no more.
You know what? I'm gonna throw this right back at WWE. They do it to themselves. You know why? You've got Rusev. Every week he comes out there, the big, badass, Bulgarian brute, beating the shit out of people. And you know what? You watch him on Total Divas, I'm going to tell you something. Rusev is a respectful, nice, funny guy. Why would you want people to even see that side of him? Why? Where?
I got a question for you.
What?
How is Rusev, whether it's Roman Reigns and now Enzo and Kay, how is he the heel in all of this?
He's not.
For standing up for his wife.
He's not. You know what? I was listening to The Soup today, and they were earlier today, and they were talking about it. Exact same thing. They were talking just that. Who the fuck is going to hate this guy for standing up for his wife and doing what's right, especially a wife as hot as that? Dude, motherfucker. And look, I know
a dude walks up with his dick out to his wife, and he's the bad guy. And I mean, I just don't get it. I was hoping somebody could break that down for me.
Bro, if some dude is standing naked beside, and it's not like my best friend who, like, I know is just a total whack job, standing naked beside my chick, I'm at least gonna throw a punch. And you know what I mean by at least gonna throw a punch. All right.
What you want to judge the situation? Let me see how big he is. Yeah, I can take him.
You see, that's the thing. I'm too stupid to ever judge how big a guy is. I'm too stupid to back down. I've been not only told this, but I've said it myself. I am too fucking stupid to back down from a guy bigger than me. I'm just too stupid. I'm not gonna say I'm not afraid because it's there. I know I am. Thank God for adrenaline. But I'm too stupid to back down from anyone bigger. Listen, Bruce Lee said it best. Never take a guy's size as for face value. Size means nothing when it comes to someone who's prepared for fighting. And remember, Bruce Lee never said fighting, but expressing yourself, as Bruce Lee said. So size doesn't mean anything to someone who's ready. You know, even... what's it? Patrick Swayze even said it in Roadhouse. God damn it! A guy who's looking for trouble isn't a problem for someone who's waiting for it. You know.
Damn, that's a cool ass line.
That whole movie's badass. It's on cable right now if you want to watch it. Roadhouse.
Yeah, that'll be coming up soon on THT Movie Review every Friday at 11 p.m.
I watched that movie twice today, and I'm not fucking ashamed to admit it. God damn it.
Swayze was the man.
One of the best lines in that movie. Oh, really? I'm not supposed to take it personal. Somebody calls my mama a whore. It ain't personal. And he looks right at him and goes, is she? Damn, God. Savage Patrick Swayze. And, you know, back to the conversation. I know that, look, even weebs put box keep in kayfabe. Look, I know kayfabe is dead, but could you at least not throw it in our face that it is? That's all I'm saying. Yeah. You don't have to be, look, you want to I understand some people still think, oh, John Cena's such a good guy. He's straight shooting with Nikki. He tells her the truth. Well, if you don't think I never want to get married and I never want to have kids hurts a woman's womb and soul, you're fucked up. All right? Those are hurtful words from a man that a woman loves.
No, and I'll say this. I mean, and I've even defended Cena for being like upfront with the woman about his intentions and what he's looking to get out of the relationship. But at the same time, it is kind of dickish to continue to be with a woman who clearly wants something that you don't want to give her. So the respectable, manly thing to do would be say, you know what? You want something that I'm not willing to give you, so maybe we should go our separate ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that would be the stand-up thing to do, don't you think, Box?
Well, when Dolph was hitting on her, Cena said, if that's what you want, maybe you should go. If he can give you that, that's something you need to think about. That is not a nice guy. But Rusev is the complete opposite. He's very respectful. He lives for Lana. He loves that girl, and she loves the hell out of him. You can see that on the show. You know how you can just tell with people. There's certain things you can't fake.
Yeah.
Like Miz and Maurice are the most confusing couple in the world, but they live for each other.
Yeah.
Maurice is a scheming bitch, but whatever. But yeah, Rusev.
She's still fine. I don't give a damn.
No, I wouldn't give a damn either if I was Miz. God damn, that girl.
Yeah.
Just imagine this. This was in a scene in Total Divas. Maurice wanted a gun because there was someone trying to break into her house when she wasn't there.
Okay.
Could you imagine working at a gun range and Maurice and Eva Marie come in to shoot guns?
If they came in, I'd imagine there'd be a lot of shooting going on.
Dude, I'd be oh my God, I'd be shooting over their heads, over their back. Oh my God. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What I did notice about Total Divas, they have taken Eva Marie's husband off the show.
Yeah, because he was the one that, once she got popped the first time, wasn't he the one running his mouth?
That, and like, he would always have her doing unsanctioned WWE projects where they would call her up and they're like, hey, we heard you were doing a photo shoot today. And she's like, yeah, my husband set it up. And they're like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. You're under contract, bitch. So, and he didn't quite get the word contract. So, but he said, you're supposed to be an independent contractor. You should be able to do what you want. But that don't work like that. But, wow.
Let me ask you, Bugs, because I'll be honest, I'm not a total... I watched, literally, the first couple episodes when it came on out of curiosity.
Yeah.
But remember, and this is going back, this is when Brodus Clay was actually still under contract. Wasn't it, what was the other Funkadactyl? Not Naomi, what was the other one? Cameron. Wasn't she the one with the boyfriend that wanted to challenge, what was his name, Vinny?
Yeah.
He wanted to go in a locker room and start a fight with
Brodus.
Brodus or somebody. Yeah. He stepped in and saved his life.
Yeah.
Now who's the bigger idiot between the two of them, Vinny or Eva Marie's husband? If you had to pick one.
I would have to say Vinny. Eva Marie's husband may be
he's just a businessman.
No, he's a pussy whipped gold. He's the gold digger in the relationship. He is the gold digger in that relationship. Bro, they knew each other for 3 months, and this dude was on TV asking her, please marry me. I mean, I don't blame him. If I had a chick that looked like that, I would lock that shit up quick. I would have got her pregnant even faster. But that shit...
So you it's like you gonna talk shit about him, but you don't blame him. You understand where he was coming from.
Oh no, dude, look, look, I am not. I got no problem with what he did. I'm not. Look, there was no shame in his game. If I had a girl that looked like Eva Marie, I would have locked that shit up the same way. But dude, he's the gold digger. Yeah, he's definitely more crazy.
He's riding her coattails.
But he does, again, he lives for her. When she was having she was sick. Something was going on. He was fluffing her pillow, getting her heating pads. She gave her a bell in case she needed something. Motherfucker, where are your balls, dude? Where'd they go? I mean, dude, I would never... Listen, I might do a lot when my girl is sick, but I'm not giving her a bell, okay? Fuck that. Fuck that.
That sound like something straight out of the 1950s.
Dude.
And somebody come running?
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and she's got, Naomi coming over, and she's like, hold on, let me get you a drink. And she rings the bell, and he comes running. Hey, you pussy whip motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
But again, I don't blame him. Eva Marie's fucking hot as hell. I would, like I said, I would have had that bitch pregnant before now. But that's just me. That's how I roll. All right. I guess we can get off of Total Divas. I'm sure this is really interesting for everybody. But... all right, let's do this.
I think you were up to Jericho losing to Rollins. What was
Actually,
after that one?
we went through all the matches. Believe it or not, there wasn't that many matches on the show. It was only like 7 matches. You see, 7 matches. That was it.
So what? I'm gonna go back and watch it, obviously. But what would you say was the match of the night for you?
Honestly, it might have been the probably Rollins Jericho. And second, I would definitely put Flair and Charlotte and Sasha. Okay. Those two.
How was that Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens match?
It was good. It was good, but fuck finish, DQ. Did you watch Raw at all, Shaheen?
Nope.
All right. Well, then you don't even know what happened. Jericho. I don't know if you know, but Jericho and Owens have been kind of fighting back and forth, teasing the.
I was watching when they were teasing
Yeah.
it, and then they made up again.
Yeah, well, they did the same thing on Sunday. Jericho came in, gave Owens a code breaker, which, caused Owens to be or Roman Reigns to be disqualified, which made Owens win the match, which let him keep the title. And at the end of the match, Jericho and Owens were hugging and saying, "We fooled you." So.
That's actually, I like that finish. That's good.
Yeah, a lot of weird finishes on this pay-per-view.
But that's different, though. I actually don't mind that finish at all.
I don't know about
I
different.
want to backtrack real quick, Fox. What did you think of the Neville heel turn? Because that was actually a big talking point coming out of the pay-per-view.
I liked
for
it.
some people.
I think Neville could be a damn good heel, and I saw someone say that he could be almost like the Brock Lesnar of the cruiserweight division. That
I don't know about
that was on our Facebook.
Brock Lesnar.
That was on our.
Hey.
I don't know who said it, but it was on our Facebook. That's pushing it a little bit. Speaking of our Facebook, facebook.com/group/THT podcast, I am right now looking at a GIF of Victoria's ass jiggling. Join the Facebook group to see that.
Yes. That ass.
That's right. Mark Wahlberg breaking down the 25 bays of Christmas. 4 days left, people. 4 days left.
Yes.
And that one of Sexy Star that I posted.
Oh, with the nips?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Nips alert.
Yeah.
Nipsler.
I almost wish you could just push.
You
You just want to push the ring ropes down a little bit, but you can't. But I like the Neville heel turn. I think it's pretty badass. I think it was pretty badass. I think it was good. You know what? I didn't expect it. How's that? I didn't expect it.
What was more shocking, the turn or actually seeing Neville get TV time?
I would say the turn. He's been put out there as this superhero type babyface for so long that's kind of what you just expect him to keep coming down as. But I like it. I'm happy with it. I'm glad. And he, I think he'll be a good little heel. And I mean little. He is a little guy, but,
Yeah, he's definitely going to have to work on the promos a little bit and going to have to cut out the crowd-pleasing offense. I'm actually interested to see how he's going to work going forward as a heel.
Yeah, he's going to have to
because obviously his in-ring style, if he's going to get over as a heel, he's going to have to change it.
Yeah, he's going to have to stop the flippy doos a little bit, but we'll see.
That's a good point. Triple H was on ESPN, and they asked him about Will Ospreay. Did anybody see this?
No, go.
I know, go.
All right, he was quoted as saying, Will Ospreay is an amazing talent. There's a lot of amazing talent out there. When they're available and when the time is right, I want to work with all of them. I guess he's talking about the whole UK tournament that they got going on, which I guess they're going to create the UK belts.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
It's probably the best looking belt they have on the whole roster.
Yeah, it's a little scary, but it probably is. You're right. Probably is one of the better looking belts. So.
Now, Boxman, are you familiar with Will Ospreay at all?
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say I know everything about the guy. I have seen his name pop up a million times on Facebook, dirt sheets. I know he has gotten tons of recognition over the past, I would say, 8-9 months, more than usual. So
Yeah.
I've seen his name pop up a lot. So I did go check him out a little bit.
No, that's a guy that I could definitely see in NXT, and same with Marty Scurll. Both of those guys, both UK guys, came out with like Zack Sabre, and Tommy End, another guy that I probably called like 2 years ago before he got signed. That dude, he's in NXT, and I think he's going to be, kind of the key to the door to NXT for a lot of those UK guys.
Speaking of NXT, if you didn't notice, Monday night, Austin Aries actually debuted on commentary on Raw.
Well, I didn't watch that one.
I'm just throwing it out there.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, I like him on commentary.
Yeah. To change the subject, last week we talked a little bit about Kevin Owens on a live show yelling at a fan. The mother flipped out. I don't want to get into that topic, but a leaked document revealed what WWE wrestlers are allowed to do and not allowed to do at live shows. This was obviously swiped from Jamie Noble. His name is handwritten on it and typed on it. So this was obviously, actually it says producers Jamie Noble, Devon. So obviously a couple guys lost this paper. I want to go over this. I just want to get a little bit of y'all's feedback on this. VKM notes for live events. Obviously, we know Vincent Kennedy McMahon, VKM. Per our conversation with Vince, this is part of the memo, by the way. Per our conversation with Vince, please, no pile drivers. Also, if there is anything you think is questionable, please contact Michael Hayes for more information. Thank you.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus.
I just want to say, if Michael Hayes doesn't think it's questionable, I wouldn't even do it in the first place. Okay.
Jesus Christ, man. Okay. I'm already pissed off.
Okay.
Freebird rules, brother.
Okay. Next, okay.
You do more than a fucking hair flip. It's too much for this guy. Why? It's no wonder it's so fucking boring.
I know. Now this is an outline. So this was the main part. Now these are the bullet points of that outlined paragraph I just read. Referees should not play a factor in our finishes. It is important to keep their credibility. Do not compromise the referees or put them in compromising situations. Okay? And by the way, just to rewind, this was from a December 10th, December 11th live event in White Plains, New York. So this is as of this year. This is not some old paper that got released just now. So there's that. Please make sure all talent do not go up to the ropes during their entrances. Please do not let talent stall too much, especially during the first match. Okay, now here's a new one. No impromptu talent promos. Promos must be approved ahead of time by Michael Hayes or the LE agent / producer, which the LE would be, I guess, lead executive producer. And talent must run the promo by an agent / producer, and agent / producer must approve. All right? Now, this is where it's going to get awesome. Are you ready for this? No one is to do the boo stuff except John Cena. Producer / agent note, no low blows. Also, any use of chairs, tables, or other objects must be approved first. I think that's obvious. That's not a really bad one. Also, agents need to approve heels taking a walk during their matches and limit to the top matches only. Okay? Now, can anyone explain to me what yeah boo stuff is?
Well, technically, I guess they mean like the whole punch sequence. Cena punches somebody, he gets booed. Whoever punches him gets cheered. Boo, yeah, whatever.
Oh,
Kind of what they're
yeah.
doing for Roman Reigns now.
Kind of like what Cesaro and Sheamus are doing.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll bet they're in trouble every week. Okay. This isn't much longer, so don't worry. I'm not going to be here for like another hour. Producers' notes is the next section to take place. Refs and producers. If talent takes a bad bump or seems to have hurt themselves, please. Okay. Procedures. You ready, guy? You ready?
Okay.
Stop the match and check on talent. If the ref is unsure if talent is okay, wave ringside doctor in to check on the talent, all while moving the opponent to a neutral corner. Okay, suddenly it's boxing. If the doctor deems the talent unable to continue, stop the match, have injured talent helped to the back for medical attention, and award the match to the opponent. If the talent wants to continue and the ref and doctor agree they can continue without doing further damage, then the talent should be able to get to their feet on their own and the ref can restart the match. Lest we forget Mick Foley falling through a cage, unconscious, his tooth in his nose, jumping off of a stretcher, going back to finish a match, and he to this day doesn't remember it. Anyway, at any time a competitor is really hurt, the ref should go to their opponent and stand in front of them with his arms crossed. This is the sign the match has been stopped. Please pass on to talent and referees. In other words, what the vaudevillains did to Enzo Amore probably wasn't a good thing. If talent takes a bad bump or seems to have hurt themselves, do not give in to talent who want to suck it up and continue the match. The talent's well-being always comes first. Never let an opponent attack their opponent to get heat. Injured opponent to get heat. If the talent is opened up, and you must stop the match later in the show. If the cut is closed and bleeding, it is okay to send the heel back out to cut a promo bragging about their victory and send the babyface back to the ring, Spirit of 76 style, to make a comeback and hit the finish on the heel.
What in the fuck are they talking about?
Basically, if a talent gets hurt...
No, I know that. In the spirit of the 76 style, what the fuck is this?
Obviously, this was how 76 worked. A lot of times the babyface would get hurt. The heel would come out, work a promo on what he just did. The babyface would come back out, beat the shit out of the heel, save the day, get the crowd behind him, and the underdog heat, if you will.
So we're basically 40 years back in time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
And real quick, just last, if we do a ref bump during the match, have the ref bump to the floor and have a second referee come down to finish the match. Do not have the ref that was bumped remain in the ring peeking to see when he should get up and finish. So there you go. All the rules to a WWE live event that the talent has to follow. You know, Doug even put in the chat room, he feels like these are elementary school rules. WWE is run like a private school. I mean, from dress codes to everything else. It is run like a little... Fuck, is it run like a Nazi camp? I don't know.
Pretty much, man. I mean, look at Vince.
I mean, I don't know, but... Yeah. I mean, I probably should have let you guys chime in during some of this, but I wanted to get through the whole list. Obviously, some of the things that don't make sense is anytime they mention running anything by Michael Hayes.
Wait. Do you think this applies to all though?
It looks like, I mean, according to this, if you really read this, it's anyone except John Cena. It seems Cena can do anything. I'm I'm sure there's a few guys who have leeway. I would say Jericho would have tenure to do anything he wanted to do. I would say a guy like Undertaker would be able to do Triple H would be able to do whatever he wants. Look, I would probably get to a handful of guys who could go out there and they wouldn't say shit.
Daniel Bryan, apparently.
Daniel Bryan is trying to get.
He gets zero fucks.
He is trying to get fired. I don't care what anyone says. He is trying to get fired. He
wants to wrestle, dude.
No, yep.
The man talked about fisting on a WWE broadcast in 2016. He's trying to get fired like Box
and
said.
They let it slide. Well, we can't really say too much. He's kind of right, I guess. But
I mean, it was funny, but I'm like, did he really just say that?
And Renee Young, her reaction was amazing. By the way, I gotta say it again. That girl is so hot. So hot. She's on Total Divas too. And dude, she is amazing. Dean Ambrose,
lucky bastard.
Let me just say one thing. Dean Ambrose has a bar at his house, and literally there is like 40 bottles of Jack Daniels. That's all that's there.
My kind of guy.
Please, I just did a shot of Jack Daniels, and I'm gonna wait 23 more years before doing another one.
You don't like that?
Oh, I can't drink whiskey. I just can't do it. But Renee Young is so fucking sexy. So if Smart Wahlberg is listening, she better be in the next 4. And if you need gifts, I have a couple. Yeah, her last week, her and Dean went and did, what was it? Surfing yoga. And dude, the back of her bikini did not want to stay covering her butt. It was wonderful. Wonderful, I say.
And let me ask you, on this show, Box, does she actually call him Dean, or does she use his real name?
She calls him Dean most of the time. Most of the time.
So they keep it kayfabe, sort of.
They try. I mean, like I said, Lana's on there with no accent. No accent at all.
So basically, it's kind of weird, so they go back and forth.
It's like some people, they want to be kayfabe, and some they don't. I mean, one week they'll call Naomi, the next week they're calling her Trinity Fatu. It's a very confusing show. I think Kevin Dunn, his drug use is catching up to him. Or maybe all the eating fucking wood with his beaver teeth is starting to get to his system. I don't know.
I will say this, from the little I had watched the Total Divas over the years, I forgot which Uso Naomi's married to, but that guy, he's actually a pretty entertaining guy, like just being himself. I'm like, why can't they let this guy be himself on TV?
Dude, there's a few people on that show. Look, most of these people are in their own little world. Maurice and Miz are in their own little world. They live on, Miz and Mauriceville. Cena and Nikki are in the same world, Cena and Nikkyville. Daniel Bryan and Brie are a little bit more down to earth. And then Naomi and her husband, I think she's married to Jimmy, whichever one. They're like the two, down to earth, really cool. Like, man, I could talk to them, like
human beings.
Yeah. You know how talking, just imagine having a conversation with Nikki Bella.
I can't.
Exactly. You could have a conversation with Naomi, and it would be intelligent, and she could probably talk about current events, where Nikki will just talk about one time she played soccer and she couldn't study for a test or something because, they were worried about soccer, and she pays her own cell phone bill because that makes her a woman. So, I mean,
Yeah, she ain't never going to let that shit down.
So I don't know. But yeah, the both the Usos are good, seem like good dudes. Naomi, Dean and Renee actually seemed like I wouldn't mind hanging with them. Obviously, just to be standing there looking at Renee, but
Now I gotta ask: does he seem a little more open than he did on the Austin interview?
no,
Is he a
actually,
little more outgoing?
no. He actually seems more. He seems like kind of just like a shy.
Like he doesn't want to be there?
He seems like a shy party guy. You know what I mean? Like the guy at the party who would let loose in front of all of his buddies, but as soon as like maybe someone got around like older, he'd be like, "All right, time to straighten up." Kind of like
They probably
yeah. But definitely, I would fucking hang with Dean without a problem, dude. Dean would be a good guy to hang with.
Yeah, just don't ask him about his private life or his upbringing or his mama. He's a good time.
Yeah. I mean, but he's not. Even I think that might be why they put him on Total Divas, to be like, look, the Dean we got on the Austin show was the real Dean Ambrose, because that's kind of him, laid back, not really very talkative. Obviously loves to party. You know, they had a thing where they were riding 4-wheelers and shit. Just a regular dude that likes to, you know, he's just making a buttload of money now, and obviously Renee is too, and it's good for them, man. But obviously Dean is used to a different life than the money life. You can kind of tell.
Now that kind of transitions into something else I want to get into. You know, you brought up Dean, right? How he comes across as a regular dude. Naomi, Usos, these come across as regular, decent, level-headed human beings that you wouldn't mind having a beer with or just having a conversation with. Do you think that's part of, like, I guess, you know, forget ratings and who's over, not over, who should be heel, who should be face. Do you think part of why wrestling is on a mainstream level where it's at now, because we don't have any out there personalities anymore? It's almost like the people that get in wrestling now are too normal. Well, I mean, you don't have any like crazy Ultimate Warrior types or Macho Man types anymore.
You know, I gotta tell you, I think you would if it was still socially acceptable. And it's not now. It's not. Especially with a publicly traded company who wants to give off the image, remember, image of being this holier-than-thou, giving, never-taking, charitable company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to come off as. And, you know, even look at Conor McGregor. He's probably the best bad guy right now I could probably compare anyone to. He's basically UFC's bad guy.
Yeah.
But is he out there getting in trouble for drinking and, you know, trashing hotels and things like that? No. He gets mouthy when he's supposed to. He gets mouthy when cameras are around.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you don't hear of, you know, this isn't like Mike Tyson, who, whether cameras were around or not, Mike Tyson was Mike Tyson.
Yeah, he wasn't to use a wrestling, he wasn't a gimmick.
No, he wasn't. And, you know, that might not be the best analogy to, you know, bring up or reference to bring up, but that's kind of what it was. Tyson was always Tyson. He didn't care if cameras were around. If Tyson wanted to say something, he would say it whether there was cameras around or not. Yeah. I mean, that's who he was.
Yeah, like eat your kids.
But it was a different time. Notice a lot of the people that used to do that have grown up, calmed down, and you don't see it much anymore. You don't hear about it much anymore.
I understand. Like, you got to grow, you got to move on, but it just seems like, you know, the time, even when I grew up and when you grew up, Box, the guys that got into wrestling way back when, you would look at some of these guys and, like, they could only exist in wrestling. You couldn't see these people doing anything else but being a professional wrestler.
Well, and I still see...
Like you couldn't see Bruiser Brody in an office-type position.
No, but then you look... I mean, but... and there's still a few guys out there like that. I mean, let's face it. Could you see Triple H working at a fucking, like, mechanic shop? No, you couldn't.
No.
You couldn't see that. There's a few other guys. I mean, Kevin Owens, I guess you could see him working anywhere, but he's a wrestler, dude. You can look at him and it's all written all over him. That's a wrestler right there. Undertaker, obviously he goes back from era to era to era, but I don't know, man. I just think that it's not socially acceptable to be that crazy, go out, get drunk, tear up hotels, rocking. Dude, even rock stars aren't the same anymore, bro. Isn't that sad? Rock stars aren't even rock stars anymore.
Gene Simmons can't be Gene Simmons no more.
Rock stars can't even be rock stars. First of all, rock stars aren't rock stars. There's not even real rock anymore. It's fucking pop music. I don't want to hear it. It's pop. Unless you listen to heavy metal, it's pop. Even country now is pop, thanks to Jimmy Buffett.
I hate fucking country. That's the only genre of music I will not co-sign for.
I actually don't mind it. I mean, I drink beer and, I've driven trucks, so I'm a country song, and I live in Texas. Most country songs are about Texas, driving trucks and drinking beer. So, it doesn't bother me. But, it's fine. But yeah, I mean, but rock stars can't be rock stars, dude. It's just, you cannot be that person anymore. So
yeah, but it's just, I don't know, man. I just wish that they need to pick a direction and keep it consistent with everybody.
Well, they are.
You have all these. I mean, I understand, everybody can't be treated the same. But
yep. Hey, give me a sec, man. Hold on. All right, my kid walked in. Give me 1 second here. Aunt, you still there? All right, I just lost the whole call. Hey, everybody, I'm going to take a quick break. Give me 1 second, and I will be right back. Give me a second here, guys. Damn. Sorry about that, guys. Kid walked in. Actually, right when my kid walked in, Skype took a dump anyway, so what the hell? Anyway, all right, where were we? There's no crazy people left in wrestling?
Yeah.
That's where we were.
Yeah, that's basically it. I mean, I understand why, necessary changes, but I think that's part of why, wrestling where it's at now. It's like you don't have any characters anymore. You don't have any out there personalities.
Well, yeah.
You don't have nobody to stand up and say, fuck this.
Well, you're not going to, look, it's 2016. You're not going to get that anymore. Just deal with it. Deal with that. You're not going to get that anymore. Motherfucker, this is Trump's America, bitch.
Yeah, everybody. No, you know what this is? Everybody want to talk about Trump's America. This is. Are we going to enter the therapy era?
I don't know.
The therapy session era, where everybody needs therapy anytime they don't get what they want.
This is Trump's America.
We need to build a wall.
All right, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I don't know. I just really think that you're not going to get it. There's two. I don't know, man. You cannot even toe the line in wrestling anymore. Dude, look what we talked about last week. Kevin Owens did nothing but be a wrestling heel, and some mother just smeared it all over the fucking internet.
Yep.
And, WWE fucking got a hold of her and sent her a bunch of free shit.
Yeah, but, I bring it up because think about it like this. Okay, the mother made us think about it. So, of course, WWE, Vince probably, sent her a care package, sent the kid a Roman Reigns doll, a fucking John Cena best of t-shirt or whatever the fuck. But I could see the same people in that company saying, why can't these heels get over anymore?
Dude.
Why do we not have strong heels anymore?
Dude, I would have sent...
Didn't you have somebody that go out there to take the initiative to get over as a heel?
Nope.
Not go over the line, but just be a heel within reason. And the guy's probably getting shit over it now.
Yep. You can't. You cannot do your job in wrestling anymore. I mean, you can see that. But you know what would have been a great move if they had just sent her all Kevin Owens merchandise? Just everything they sent her was just KO stuff, all Kevin Owens merch. Yeah. I would have done that. That would have been me. I would have been fired for it. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. But anyway, on the heels of WWE being wonderful, I only have one more news item. And that is that according to Cable Facts, which I guess is kind of like Carfax for cable, El Rey Network is planning to double down in regards to Lucha Underground. They're putting out, it says they're planning to increase its output of original hours by 50% next year. They could tape up to 60 episodes for next season, the fourth season coming up. So they have already basically been greenlit for the fourth season. People were a little worried about that, but because last year, 2 weeks into season 2, we heard there was a season 3 greenlit already. But not only are they ready to go, they are going to tape more episodes, dump more money into this thing, and they're also looking to expand the touring next year in 2017 also. So look forward to Lucha Underground heading your way.
If nothing else, I'm happy to hear that just because wrestling in general needs more options. The more options, the better it is for all of the wrestlers, better it is for the fans, better it is for shows like this to have other shit to talk about.
You know what? We were just talking about how WWE is lacking characters and this and that. Lucha Underground is the exact opposite. It has all characters. It's completely storyline, not only storyline, but consistent storyline, continuity to the storyline based, and it's just a well-done fucking show, only an hour, but it's easier to watch. I know I haven't been able to, but I don't know, man. After I do this show, I'm like done. Like Monday, Raw. Tuesday, SmackDown. Wednesday, show. All right, I'm done. I can't. No more wrestling.
Yeah.
Stick a fork.
That's the I will say that's the beauty part of having a network. People say it's too much, but you have that ability to watch things as you please. It's on demand. So you don't have to necessarily watch it live unless you're like one of those diehards.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched SmackDown yet. I'll watch it tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, same.
But I haven't even had time. I watched about 10 minutes of it last night. I saw this John Cena vignette. They're bringing him back like Jesus himself is coming back to WWE. Like John Cena's been gone for a year and a half with some sort of fucking injury. What the fuck, man?
Hey, I mean, I guess it's just like, Vince, hey, he's a promoter. You got, I guess you can't, it's John Cena. I mean, regardless of what you may think of the guy, what we may think of the guy, you can't just throw it out there like, oh, by the way, John Cena's coming back. You got to put a little bit of pep into it, I guess.
But do you need this? Come on, dude. Look, he wasn't hurt. He was out shooting a TV. They make it sound like he's been gone for a year. He's been gone for a fucking couple months. And I'll say it. Couldn't they give this guy a few more days and just give him to the fucking end of the year to be with fucking, just sit there and bang Nikki a few more? No, they're worried that with the holidays, the ratings for SmackDown are going to be down. So they got to bring Cena back.
Well, mark it down. I know this isn't going to endear me to a lot of people, but you know what's going to happen. He's going to come back. He's finally going to get his big win back over AJ. And they're going to build to Taker versus Cena, title versus career at WrestleMania in Orlando next year. Mark it down. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
I think that's just where they're going.
Look, I know the obvious match to the obvious big money match is Cena versus Taker. I don't know. I disagree. I really do. But I also disagreed with Brock being the one to take Taker's streak. But whatever.
So, I mean, do you see either? I put it to you like this. You know, do you see either Owens or Styles going into WrestleMania as champion? Between the two, or
between
both.
the two,
Do you see either one of them making it to Mania as champion?
Between the two, I could see Styles making it. I really think so. I just look. I love Kevin Owens. I really do, but I don't know how behind him they are. I question it.
And same here. I feel bad for the guy because I honestly, but he's one of those guys. If they let him be Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen, whatever you want to call him, he's fucking money. But his title reign has been shit. I'm sorry. I mean, you guys might disagree, but his title run to me has been shit.
I look. I loved him and Jericho together. They are really, really good together. But it's time. It's time to get them away. This might have been it was a weird time to do it with Kevin Owens having the title now. I understand they wanted to cause the tension with him and Jericho for the title, but I think Kevin Owens could have benefited more from a single title run by himself first and then done this sort of funny kind of role. But yeah. I mean, it's not up to me, obviously. But there's my bullshit opinion for you. I think he should have had a regular, by himself title run, and then a good, strong run with it, and then do this. Hey, I can be funny too. Run with Jericho. So I don't know. What do you think?
Same here, man. I honestly think that they kind of lost their way with Kevin Owens. Because correct me if I'm wrong. When he first came up, did you watch him in NXT for the brief time he was down there, or you only watched him on the main roster?
I pretty much just watched him once he came up to the main.
Well, when he came up to the main roster, obviously he was a heel. He hasn't been a face yet. He's been a heel this whole time. But do you remember how they kind of portrayed him as like a badass heel? That yeah, he would cheat from time to time. But for the most part, he could get it done on his own. He beat Cena clean.
Yep.
And then somewhere along the way, they turned him into a pussy. How do you go from being like this badass, I'm a prize fighter, I'm doing this for my family, if I don't win, they don't eat, to this bullshit?
You know, I know the whole Jericho and Owens thing was a work to get the crowd behind him or what against him, heel heat, but seeing Owens begging to talk to Jericho just didn't sit right with me. Banging at the door, hey, I need to talk to you, man. It's like, I know I'm being I know I'm digging into it too much, but
no, you're being analytical.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to be too serious here, but it does get to the point where you're like, is this what Kevin Owens should be doing? Begging an old dude to be his friend? I don't think so. I don't think that's not what Kevin Owens' character should be doing. But according, WWE, everyone, hey, if you can't be funny, I'm not sure we can use you. Be wacky for the kids. Like,
it's been said by many an old school wrestler, and fuck it, I guess I'm getting old, but funny don't equal money. I mean, you can have elements of comedy, but if you're the top guy, you shouldn't be like you said, you shouldn't have him in these segments. He's banging at the door, he's begging for Jericho. And here's another thing. You said they used Jericho to get him over as a heel. Jericho's kind of at that point in his career, kind of like a Flair. You're never going to get people to boo Ric Flair at this point. You're not going to get Jericho, much like a Taker, even a Triple H, as much as people go back and forth on a guy, certain guys get to a point where they're untouchable. You're not going to get the crowds to turn against them no matter how hard you try.
No, you gain the respect over time. Whether they like you or not, you still gain their respect. I completely understand what you're saying. Please proceed.
Yeah, Jericho. I mean, Jericho, like, he's been around, what, 20, 30 years now? I mean, he's like untouchable. He's been, and plus he's at a point in his career where you don't know how much longer he's going to do it. Because at any point, he could just say, fuck this, I'm done. He's doing it now because he likes it. He has fun with it. But at any point, he could be like, you know what, fuck it, I had my fill. I got my money. I got my wife. I got my kids. I don't need this shit.
And you know what? 2 years ago, I would have said good riddance, Jericho. I really would have.
Wow.
Now,
That was stiff.
now, holy fuck! I really don't want Jericho. I really don't want Jericho to go at this point. I know it's going to happen. I know he's not going to be full time much longer. He's got. I mean, the weather's going to be getting. We're just in the winter, so he's going to want to go somewhere warm and do a show soon. But I don't know, man. I'm not going to be happy when Jericho leaves. I've got to be honest. I'm going to miss him.
I'm the same way, man. I look at it like this, man. When I look at Jericho, I look at Taker, and hell, even Kane. People like to shit on Kane. These guys, Mark, within the next 5 years or less, a lot of these guys are going to be gone. And it's like you got to appreciate them while you still got them.
Yeah, I mean, Kane
is an Iron Man for the company. Now, like I said, I think he could still be a valuable resource for the company. It's just the way they utilize him. Because when you listen to him on the outside, he actually brings up a lot of fucking good points.
That's great.
A lot of points that have been brought up on this show.
Yeah, but when does he really bring this shit up on WWE's dime? Hardly ever. The interviews he does is for him, like his company, it's never really on WWE's dime. It's always on WWE's time. Look, I don't know. He's one that if he left tomorrow, would you really notice that Kane was gone? Honestly, would you notice Kane wasn't with the company anymore? You wouldn't.
Over the last couple years, I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't, just because I've been like out of his existence on the show. But he's one of those guys that he kind of won me. He lost me for a few years, but he kind of won me back over with the Daniel Bryan stuff. That stuff was funny. I mean, come on, man. That was gold. He lost me with the Authority again, but I don't know, man. I got a soft spot, for Kane because he's been around for so fucking long, and he's been a part of some good shit.
I don't know. I've never been the biggest Kane fan, I guess. I know Shaheen's probably sitting there going, but you hate Taker too. I do not hate Taker. Stop it. But I just think Kane's time is past. They have got to start. Listen, John Cena, the guy you have put all of your eggs. Think of John Cena as a basket, and he's holding all of your eggs, okay? And every time John Cena goes on this little taping a movie or every time you do, an egg breaks, okay? You're not going to have many eggs up. They've put their eggs in this basket with John Cena, okay? They have got to start. Forget the old. This is the time to build the new regime. John Cena's not going to be around much longer full time. Kane, he's another guy. Don't need him anymore. Big Show. Who needs him anymore, really? Look, I know there was a whole thing that came out, how Big Show's great for people, and if people don't understand what I can do for someone, shut up. But there's people like that just don't need to be around anymore. They have got to start building superstars, and I'm going to say it. Thank God for AJ Styles this year. Thank God for AJ Styles this year. What would WWE have done without someone like AJ Styles to focus the camera on for the last year? Tell me. Who else would they have focused on? Can you tell me anyone?
Probably Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins.
Okay, Roman Reigns, like I said, that experiment failed. It failed months ago, just no one will admit it. I'm starting to think this was a Triple H project like Sin Cara, and he will not admit he's a failure.
Well, you know who else is failing too? That Seth Rollins is a babyface. Which is there? I mean, it's failing because let's be honest. I was initially in favor of him coming back as a heel just because he left as a heel, and the way did he never really had like that moment where he turned. So I thought it was stupid. It would have been stupid to bring him back as a face with no explanation. But when you look back on it, it was almost like they should have just said fuck it and just brought him back as a face because when he came back, he was gone for so long. The people were waiting. They were waiting just to cheer him. But then what happened? They drug out his heel run for way too long, and then he turned face, not because he had like this epiphany, but because Triple H didn't want to be his friend anymore.
Yeah,
because Triple H didn't help him cheat.
It was all.
That's why.
It was all a build up.
That's why we're supposed to love this guy all of a sudden.
It was all the build up to get Triple. And I got to tell you, I'm not against the babyface Rollins run. They are doing the worst thing they could do by sticking him with Reigns. Because, yeah, the Shield was awesome, but without Dean Ambrose, I'm not sure anyone's going to get behind these guys. I really don't.
No,
I think it's a weak version.
People think, oh, it'd be a big deal, but honestly,
nope,
it won't. I don't think, because I think these guys, it's been too much mishandling. You know, I mean, Reigns, to me, is just too far gone. And people are already starting to turn on Ambrose. Rollins is, to me, blah. I mean, it just seems like even if they put them all together, you'll get that initial pop, but I don't think it'll have, like, the staying power that WWE thinks it'll have.
And you know what?
That's a damn shame.
People are turning on Ambrose because of, in my opinion, this is why people are turning on Ambrose. WWE gave him this lunatic fringe character, but never let him be a lunatic because we're still PG. You can't be a complete lunatic, but you can be on the fringe. But WWE's fringe is way different than anyone else's, I guarantee it. So I can see where people started to sour on Dean. And I'm going to tell you right now, Austin bringing up that fact didn't help him at all. Austin basically aired out the fact that WWE calls you this lunatic fringe, and you're the fucking furthest thing from a lunatic anyone's ever seen. What the fuck is going on? That wasn't good for him either.
Yeah, put it to you like this. You know, back in the, once again, dating myself, back in the day when Brian Pillman, rest in peace, when he was doing a loose cannon gimmick, you know, regardless of work, shoot, wherever you stand on what he was doing, the fact is, when you watch that guy on TV, you got the sense that you were watching a man who was legitimately out of his fucking mind. When you watch Dean Ambrose, you just look like, I mean, you look like you're watching a guy playing a character. He's playing crazy. The same way Michael Richards played crazy on Seinfeld.
Right. He's trying to be funny lunatic instead of badass lunatic. But you can't tell me that's not what WWE is asking from him. I am by no means am I saying Dean Ambrose is fucking up his own character by doing. I guarantee he said it in the interview. I beg, I plead, I scream, I yell, but you can only do what you're told to do, and he's right.
He begs, he pleads, he screams, he yells, he fusses, he cusses, and he was met with laziness.
And you know what? I really wish he would have just looked at fucking Stone Cold and said, "Dude, I go home and fuck Renee Young every night. What are you talking about?"
I'm still winning in life, son.
And like I said when that whole interview happened, I'd like to see Steve Austin try to be Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2016. I guarantee, number one, it wouldn't work. Two, he wouldn't be working for the company very long. They wouldn't care. They wouldn't care. He would not be able to come out there, give middle fingers, cussing up a storm, and stay on employed with WWE. Not now.
So so what you're saying is when guys like, you know, Steve Austin, Jim Ross, and et cetera, Jim Cornette, when all of these old school guys give up this advice about, you know, you need to maximize your minutes and you need to take chances and step out on the line, you think they need to realize that it's not their business anymore, that they might still be a part of it, but the rules, society, everything's changed, and unfortunately, guys don't live under the same circumstances that you did back in the day.
Well, yeah, I definitely think that. Look, taking a chance back then probably doesn't mean what taking a chance. Look, we even read the thing for the live event. No impromptu promos. None. Don't do it. So you're breaking a rule already by, if you want to try to further your character or something. So, yeah, I do think that they need to update their advice a little bit. And, I'm sure a lot of these guys are going, we would love to do that, but we need our jobs. Remember, those guys could also jump to WCW back then. They could go to Paul Heyman at ECW back then, too. Where are they going to go now?
They had options, so yeah, you could if you did something. Because I'm pretty sure guys back in the day would go out on TV and do shit that Vince didn't agree with, and they say, "Well, okay, if you don't like it, I'll call up Eric Bischoff and get a job there. I'll call up this one and get a job there."
And they were just starting to get contracts, so they'd be like, "Yeah, go ahead, fire me. You have to pay out my contract." I'm sure that shit was happening back then. Nowadays, look, what chances? Think about it. Kevin Owens took a chance last week, and look what happened. He took a shot at being a heel last week, and look what happened. So imagine if Dean Ambrose went out there and really took a shot at being a lunatic. Ooh. Oh, no. He'd probably end up suspended. Dude, fucking Titus O'Neil touched Vince McMahon and got fucking 30. He touched him. You touched your boss and got suspended. I'm sorry. If I were Titus, if I were Titus, I don't care. They must have really came to him during that and said, "Look, we know we fucked up. We're sorry. Vince can, Vince. He's Vince."
Sorry.
That
whole thing was ridiculous.
He was trying to be a chivalrous guy by saying women first. Suspended.
Look, I'll say this. I thought Titus was an idiot for picking, because, just to backtrack to people that may not remember, that was during Daniel Bryan's retirement ceremony. Right. And every day we're doing like the somber walk. Bryan had just gave this emotional speech. Crowds cheering, hugging, everybody's crying. Yay, Bryan. And Titus picked the wrong time to goof off. I give him that.
You know what?
But they suspended him for like 90 days. So touching Vince was more of an offense to the company than getting busted for drugs. That was insane. That was the insane part. That's why the internet blew up about it.
And you know what? It wouldn't have if Vince didn't freak about it. Seriously. If Vince had just
went with it and just talked to him behind the scenes,
no one would have been the wiser. Nobody would have known a fucking thing. But Vince Flair, touch me. God damn it. Where's the Puro?
Yeah. And the fucked up thing is, this actually made like major news, like ESPN, New York Times wrote an article. Is Vince McMahon and WWE racist? That was insane. And for the record, no, I don't think they're racist. I just thought the whole thing just got blown out of proportion. And like you just said, Box, if Vince didn't react the way he did, nobody would have noticed a damn thing.
There's been a ton of stuff. If WWE didn't make a fuss about it, some people wouldn't. But there's also been some things that people shouldn't have made a fuss about that WWE had to apologize for. So I see it both ways. But I don't know, man. I mean, shit. You just got to remember, it's 2016. We are in I would call this the politically correct era of the United States. We really are, dude. Think about it. Just think about, just what we talked about a few weeks ago with what's still allowed in the with what used to be allowed in the workplace and things like that. Yeah. This is the politically correct era. You just can't offend anyone. There are consequences to offending anyone, even if all you're doing is stating what you believe and your opinion, you've offended someone, there are consequences, you should be punished for giving your opinion. We have to have crying sessions for people who are upset because Trump won the election. We are a politically correct pussy world now, and if you can't live in it, just be off the radar. Like me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of off the radar.
To put it in perspective box, you have people now where you have to break down. Christmas is this Sunday, right?
Yep.
You have to break down Merry Christmas versus Happy Holidays.
No.
You got to say Happy Holidays because you might have pissed somebody off if you say, "Hey, Merry Christmas." I don't celebrate. What the fuck you mean, Merry Christmas? No. Or you got, "Oh, I'm sorry, Happy Holidays." That's where we're at.
You can say Merry Christmas in this fucking show all you want. That's all I'm going to say. I am Jewish. You can wish me a Merry Christmas. I am not going to go, "Well, I'm Jewish, so I don't celebrate Christmas." I celebrate Christmas. I have since I was a kid. I know a lot of people who don't, who still, I have a lot of Jewish friends who, when people slip up because the habit of saying Merry Christmas, they're not going to go, "I'm Jewish, I don't celebrate Christmas." They're going to go, "Thank you. Merry Christmas to you." I do have one. I do have one friend who will tear your head off. I am Jewish. I don't celebrate Christmas, and you need to just respect my religion. But most of my friends, they don't care.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, most of my friends don't give a fuck. They're just going to say thank you. Thank you.
Or same to you and moving
on. Yeah, move along.
Jesus.
Thank you. Can I have a beer? That's what my friends would say.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a sad world when you have to give
Anthony, you're breaking up.
For every statement you make. This is what I really mean.
Yeah. Or listen, everything now has to be preferenced with, something. I don't, let me clarify after I say this, or, that everything just has to be preferenced. I don't know. We've talked about this 1,000 times, how PC we are. We even know what did it, Janet Jackson's boob.
Yeah.
God damn it, Janet Jackson's right or left, whichever breast did that, damn it, someone should slap it.
Oh, yes. I'll still do it.
Can you really, can you believe we
it.
traced the whole politically correct movement back to Janet Jackson's boob? And you know what the bad thing is? We weren't the only ones that agreed. Even Wiki agreed with us.
Yep. That's when all this shit hit the fan. Nipplegate.
Nipplegate, that's when the fit hit the shan. Right there and then. So, I don't know. I mean, it's fucked up to me, but I don't know. Let's see. What else? What else?
I came up with a new segment idea for the show.
Go ahead. I'm going to scroll down Facebook, see if we can find anything else to blab about.
A Savage of the Week award for like the most savage comment, tweet, whatever that comes to mind that you find on the course of the week. For the first inductee for this not so prestigious award or honor, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to nominate Big E. Did you catch the New Day promo on Monday? You're laughing, so I'm assuming you know where I'm going with this.
I did watch Raw. Look, I don't remember most of it. How...
Yeah, I don't remember much either, but the New Day promo was fucking... It wasn't all gold, but the Flair line, I'm sorry. I lost my shit for about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, they definitely did good with that. New Day needs to start coming out and doing shit like that, man. They have to. Speaking of... What? Shaheen sent me an article here. The 11th U.S. City Court of Appeals recently ruled against a lawsuit filed by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission against Catastrophe Management Solutions, effectively ruling that refusing to hire someone because of their dreadlocks is legal. Legal. So you can now fire someone because they have dreadlocks or what I would call hair you don't fucking like. And it's legal. It is legal. Now, if this was in circuit court, this is everywhere. Wow. Dude, this is bad.
And plus, I'm actually surprised that actually passed, because that's going to open up a lot of businesses and companies to like racial discrimination lawsuits. Because people can say, "Oh, this is part of my religion, part of my whatever, my belief system."
Well, let's face it,
heritage.
Dreadlocks are part of the religion, the Rasta religion, and that is bullshit.
Yeah, and I'm just saying that's going to open up a lot of can of worms.
You know, that's so basically. Any true Jamaicans can't get jobs because dude, I've met. I got to tell you what, some of the coolest guys I've met have dreadlocks. I got to be honest with you. Some of the coolest guys I've ever met have had dreadlocks. What does it matter? What does someone's hair have to do with their personality? One, and what does someone's hair have to do with their work ethic? Can you tell me that? Can you explain that to me? By any chance, could you give me any logical defense?
Nope. Not even going to try to.
Okay. Because there isn't one. There's no logical defense on what... Dude, I had a guy that had a mohawk, and yeah, he was a lazy piece of shit, but I didn't judge him on the mohawk making him a lazy piece of shit. I judged him on the fact that he was a lazy piece of shit. But I still hired him. I had no problem hiring him.
Yeah. You gave him a chance. He didn't work out, and you say, hey, dude, he's a lazy piece of shit. You gotta go.
Means nothing to me. Tattoos don't mean anything to me. It doesn't matter. Piercings, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. None of that judges... Again, work ethic and anything else. It doesn't judge. You can't look at someone's hair and go, that guy's not going to be to work on time. If you do, you're a racist piece of shit, and you should be fired. Fired. So, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Yeah. No, it's judgmental. You're judging. I thought we weren't supposed to judge people in this world.
Hey, in Trump's America, you can do anything. You can be I don't know. You can be a Jamaican. You can be a race. You can do whatever you want. I'm sorry, you can be whatever you
Jamaican.
want. Because if you dare to be different, you're going to be on the other side of the wall that Trump is going to build.
Yeah, and the more I'm starting to worry about myself being behind that wall. Now this wall they're talking about, Shaheen said he was worried, but dude, there's already
shit. I'm looking into getting Michael Jackson surgery for myself, just so I can blend into Trump's
Jewish,
America.
And I'm gonna try to stay out of the sun for a good couple months. Well, it's winter. I have no problem not going outside, but I want to be whiter. I got kind of olive skin.
I mean, behind the scenes. Okay, all jokes aside with the Trump's America stuff, right? Do you think behind the scenes, behind closed doors, Trump is kind of like a little bit regretful of some of the things he said? Because he said all that shit to get votes, and he's already backpedaling on half of it.
He might regret saying some of the stuff he was going to do when he was in office. But I don't think he regrets any of the comments he says. No. I don't think he has that emotion. Is is regret and remorse is remorse an emotion? I guess you could call it an emotion. So I don't know, man. All I know is there's been a lot of neo-Nazi parties rising, and I guarantee I'm taking out at least 7 before I go down.
Yeah. Yeah, and when I say remorseful, I just mean remorseful in the sense that he's kind of worked up, obviously, a large segment of the population with his rants. That and if he doesn't follow through on certain things, they're going to feel maybe betrayed, pissed off that hey, we put you in the office and we were expecting some things because we done already seen a couple riots, a couple people get unnecessarily get fucked up over this bullshit
He
election.
will follow through with what they allow him to. I've said this before, and I know I'm sometimes just a fucking bag of hot air. I'm talking shit. I have a microphone in front of me. That's what I'm supposed to do. But the president's a figurehead, dude. He's like a guy for them to put out in front to take the heat and talk. The president is a public relations guy. That's what he is. He's a public relations guy. He's a guy that we can look at and go, okay, tell us what's going on. We're supposed to believe you and trust you. But that's it. He can't do there's people that have been running this government for way longer than the presidency. Just back from days and days and days. The president can't get in there and make all these changes. None of them can. How many changes was Obama going to make that actually happened? What, a third of them really did? And probably a third of that third didn't happen until he left office.
Yep.
So was about preparing to leave office. Let me rephrase that.
Yep. Yeah, Obama. he literally had to force government. He had to fucking go kicking. He had to get them people kicking and screaming to make some of the changes in the legislations he wanted to get passed.
Yeah.
Like literally, he was in office for like 7 years before. Like you said, a third of the shit that he wanted to see happen.
Just finally said, we have to do something, or they're gonna kill me.
Yeah, look at you, and you can see that. When you just look at a picture of Obama, like when he first got elected, he looked so youthful and full of life. And you look at him 8 years later, you can see the stress that got to that man. Just look at his face.
Yeah.
You can see the stress that got to that man over 8 years.
Yeah, you're right. I know they have all those things up there where they're showing all that shit, but the stress, dude. I wouldn't want that job if it paid $20 million a year. I would not.
It's a thankless job. That's the definition of a thankless job.
That thankless. Being a cop, thankless. Military, thankless. All that, just, there's a bunch of thankless jobs out there, but, being president, you get taken care of for the rest of your life, so it's a little different than military or cop, but, because you still have to put in the time if you're military or police to get your family taken care of, so little difference there. President, you could be president for 3 days, get impeached, and I think they still take care of your fucking family for life. So, I don't know, man. Is Shaheen even alive anymore?
I think he's still in the chat. I don't know if hopefully he's still alive.
Chat.
That would end the show on a downer
in
note.
The chat. I run Mixlr, so it's going to pop up as THT Podcast in the chat. So.
Oh, so you're basically schizophrenic in the chat. You have two.
I have two
identities
open in the chat room. I know Shaheen likes to go under THT into the chat, so I try to go under my name, so the Boxman THT, so he doesn't. We don't get confused.
Yeah, so we know who to blame when somebody.
Well,
makes
about a month ago,
comment.
we were in the both me and him were in the wrestling soup chat room, and I posted like 3 times before I realized I was posting under THT. So people probably thought it was Shaheen being a dick, and it was me.
So, so he took your heat.
Nah, no one really got on me. No one got on me about it. Dude, come on. You know how many fucking... Have you ever tried typing a fucking comment in the Wrestling Soup chat? It's gone in 10...
Oh yeah, I mean that's like troll central.
Geez.
I mean it's good people in there, but for the most part, trying to get a comment, a word in edgewise in that chat is fucking
if Mish sees your chat, consider it a fucking a miracle, because they're gone in seconds. You can scroll back, but to catch it is good in that chat room. There's so many people in there.
Yeah, and I honestly, if Mish catches your comment, that must mean you said something either profound or really fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. Another beer here.
So, Box, you want to open up the lines for these fine folks in the chat room?
Let's do that. I don't have to get up early tomorrow, so I'm down for whatever tonight. There you go. Open up the lines, 469-206-4466. Skype in THT Podcast. Let's hope Shaheen is at least awake enough to answer the lines, because he is controlling the phones tonight. Oh, I hear it. Oh, I see Shaheen. There he goes. Doug. What is up? What's up, Doug?
Nothing much. There was a few things I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight.
Go for it.
So, the first thing I wanted to talk about, and you touched on it earlier on, is Neville's heel turn. Okay. When I first, because I sat through all of Roadblock on Sunday, well, except for when I had to go get my brother.
Hold on.
Except for when I had to go get my brother at the end.
Hold on one sec. Shaheen, you're echoing. Shaheen, you are echoing. Thank you, Shaheen. Doug, please proceed.
Okay, so I sat through, I watched most of Roadblock on Sunday, except for when I had to go get my brother at the end, so I missed the whole Jericho Codebreaker thing. But I saw Neville's heel turn, and when he first came out, the first thing I said to myself was, he's turning heel. Because you could kind of see it coming, because Rich Swann retained. But still, even though I knew it was going to happen, it still kind of took me by surprise. I really don't see Neville as being a heel.
Yeah, like I said, it was a little, it wasn't completely unexpected. I mean, you can never really, I don't think anything in WWE anymore is unexpected. But they've had him out there, like I said, as that mighty mouse-ish superhero character so long. You just don't expect WWE to do heel turns on people anymore. Which is sad. Very sad.
The beard was a dead giveaway, though, because, whenever somebody kind of starts to grow a beard, like, remember when Reigns was going through that phase where he had the beard going? That's probably the closest he was ever going to be turning heel, when he had that beard.
Dude, you're a beardist. If you think beards make people bad guys, you're like beard racist.
No, I'm just saying, man. Just look at it. Like, whenever somebody starts to grow a beard, that means a heel turns are coming. Cena's been clean shaven for over a decade now, so there you go.
Cena's a clean shaven baby face.
But I'll say this. I watched my brother. I didn't watch Raw Monday night, but I saw like some of the highlights. And my brother had on his phone. He had Neville's heel promo that he cut. And we're watching it, right? And Neville just kind of had like that look on his face, like trying to get like that mean face or whatever. And my brother basically killed the heel turn by saying, "Oh, look at that heel face. That's so adorable."
Yeah.
I'm like, you basically just ruined his.
That promo was awful.
The promo, look, it wasn't great. He has a little bit of work to do on the promos, but I'm willing to give the dude a chance. That was his first heel promo. I don't know. I mean, I didn't follow him on the indies as much as probably a couple. was he ever a heel on the Indies, or was he always the babyface?
I don't remember. I remember seeing him at a local show in Buffalo like 10 years ago, and I think he worked babyface back then. I can't really.
Well, when it was Pac, he was mainly a babyface on the Indies as Pac. Plus, if you watch his offense, it's very babyface friendly.
With his
so
flippity-doo style, he's probably been a babyface. That could have been one of his first heel promos. So you know what? I'm going to give him a little while. I like seeing something different. Look, if they're going to use Neville, I'm happy about it. That's it. I mean, sometimes you just got to really just say, I'm happy they're using the guy.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll say this, I'm still going to stick with the fact that I think they need to give him a different finisher than the Red Arrow, because I think that's just too much of a babyface move. Just people like the move. I'm still going to stick to it. I am going to say that, until I'm fucking blue in the face, and maybe somebody fucking listens to me, which will never happen. But, I really think that is how I feel. Now, last night they had the tag match on 205 Live with him and Brian Kendrick versus T.J. Perkins and Rich Swann, and he had like these heel tendencies where he was like very methodical. Like he punches a guy and then he looks at the camera and starts like, has that look on his face or whatever.
Oh my God.
And like you could tell like he was really trying to be that heel. And it was a good match. It really was, and I really think that match kind of helped him, and it kind of helped him become a heel a little bit more. He still used the Red Arrow at the end of the match, but my brother's like, look, the heel turn is still going to work because he worked as a heel. This is how methodical he was. He didn't have that fast-paced offense.
But you got to change that moveset. You know who I've said this before. That's why R-Truth's heel turn didn't work. He never changed his move. He was out there still doing all the flippies and spinnies and dancing, and it's not going to work if you don't do a little change. R-Truth should have come out there, no music, nothing at all, taken off the colorful fucking jeans, just come out there in a regular pair of jeans, and then the fucking heel turn would have worked. But no.
I'm gonna say something that goes against every fiber of my being, and I'm gonna give TNA credit. I'm gonna give TNA credit. They did R-Truth's heel turn 100 times better than WWE ever could have, because they let the man be him. They let him be himself. Because when he was a heel in TNA, you got the sense that there was a lot of real emotion. A lot of reality came out in those promos, and obviously WWE wasn't going to go that far with it. But if they had let him tap into a little bit of that old school emotion, his heel run would have been money.
Dick in TNA, it did,
and it worked.
It did. I remember that shit. He was, and you know who else TNA did great with that WWE? I'm gonna say it, and I may get shit, and I don't care. Christian Cage. I don't give a fuck. I thought Christian.
And I'll tell you this.
I love his music in TNA. I'm sorry.
Was a fucking star, dude. I loved the Christian Cage character. Basically, it's what Jericho is doing now. Obviously, Jericho turned it up, 100-fold. But it's basically what Jericho's doing now is that Christian Cage character. But much greater, like I said, but.
It was so tongue in cheek. It was gold. It was tongue in cheek as hell, but it was funny.
It was awesome. I really TNA had a few things you could really go back and be like, they did this better with this person. But it's only you could probably only do it on one hand is the problem.
Or they would have things that were clicking and working, and for whatever reason they pulled the plug on it. LAX is another thing. Remember the original LAX when you had Homicide, you had Hernandez, and Conan was the mouthpiece. That's fucking gold, and they pulled the plug on it.
Well, didn't Tony get in trouble though? Tony got in trouble. That's why they had to pull the plug.
What'd you say, Doug?
think Conan got in trouble. That's why they had to pull the plug. Because remember when they were going to try to burn the flag or whatever?
Yeah, Conan getting in trouble wouldn't surprise me one bit at all.
Well, and first of all, here's the thing that I think worked about that whole LAX thing is that you wanted to see Conan get the shit beat out of him so badly, but because he was having trouble like with his kidneys and all that, he needed a kidney transplant. You couldn't really touch him because you would have killed him. So the fact is that they didn't let anybody ever hit him, or like if they said somebody hit him, it would always be off camera, so they would always just see him laying down on the ground.
You know,
so that worked because I hated Conan back then. I wanted to see him, and when I read, and this is me being legitimate. This is me just kind of playing along and hating the character on TV. I hated him so much that like when I read that the reason why nobody hits him is because of his kidneys and they're afraid of him dying. I was like, fuck, let somebody kill him.
Oh God.
Bastard. Oh no, trust me, I'm going to hell for saying that. I know, but that was like back then. I mean, I hated the guy so much, and it's because they did it right. He played the character right, which you're not going to see nowadays.
Yeah.
But back then, you hated the guy so much. And when the hell is anybody going to bring up total non-stop deletion from?
I haven't seen it. I have not seen it yet. I need to jump on YouTube and do it, but I haven't seen it. I have not seen that shit yet. I need to check it out, though. I heard it was amazing.
Right.
I know the Express that rock and rolls was there.
Yeah, I'll tell you this right now. Ricky Morton was fucking gold.
I'm telling you, bro. I've got to watch this. I've got to watch. I don't get Pop TV anymore.
Well, I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil it for you, since you haven't seen it yet. But you need to check it out because some of it was actually so stupid that it was funny.
I will watch it.
I
will watch it tomorrow. I'll check it out tomorrow. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. I will check it out. I will find it tonight and check it out tomorrow.
And while having that,
was it?
No, go ahead, Doug.
There's a YouTube channel. It's called TNA Videos. You'll find the whole Tag Team Apocalypto. It's like a 30-minute video of the Tag Team Apocalypto. They have it listed. Well, there's a couple of different channels that have the whole thing on there.
All right, I'll grab it.
But that's the one I kind of went to.
I'll grab it. I'll find it and I'll check it out. Anthony, you were saying something?
No, I'm trying to look for it, but apparently TNA is going to release the final deletion on DVD.
Well, and apparently TNA already announced a pay-per-view for 2017. I don't know if they've named it. They just said that they're going to have a pay-per-view in 2017.
I read that. I think it's not a pay-per-view like a traditional pay-per-view. It's one of those one-night-only pay-per-views that they do every now and then where they'll tape, like, it'll be like 6 months old by the time it actually airs. So who knows? Bobby Roode might be popping up on this one.
Bobby Woo.
You know how TNA used to tape some of those one-night-only pay-per-views? They would air 6 months after the fact. Half the people don't even work for the company no more.
I don't fucking know, man. I whatever. Yeah, they probably will. Meanwhile, good for Look, TNA survived, is still surviving when everyone has said they were dead. Dead in the water. 2017 is very close, and I don't think a lot of people thought they would survive. I'm going to say it now. If they make it through 2017, they may never die.
They won't. They won't.
Yep.
They've proven that.
Yep. I really think so. So we'll see what happens in 2017 with TNA. But right now, I'm saying it. If they make it through next year, they're Teflon at that point.
Well, I'll say this. I think the only way they're going to die is if the Hardys leave.
That's a great point. You're right. You got a great point there, because right now the Hardys are really putting TNA. It's sad to say after this long, but they're putting TNA on the map every couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be. That's the only. I mean, I thought they were in trouble when Kurt Angle retired. Well, now retired,
Right.
but
Well,
left. I thought they were in trouble then, but they're not. They're still around. And they got some talented guys on the roster, though. They really do. Problem is, they don't pay half of them.
Yeah.
They just pay them monopoly money. But they do have some talented guys on that roster, and they should probably do well. Like, if they had, like, a business relationship with another company to where they could bring guys in, they could benefit from something like that.
The problem is they've done that before, but then they try to poach the talent. And next thing you know, it's public, and TNA looks like shit again. It's happened. That's basically what happened with Lucha Underground. It happened with ROH with them. They were trying to poach talent under contract. You can't do that, Dixie. Right. Maybe Dixie was just trying to get some dick. I don't know, and they took it wrong. Who knows?
Yeah. Either way, people have been, since we're talking about TNA, everybody wants to talk about, the feud of the year. What was the best match of the year? I'm going to say it right now. You know what the best match of the year was? TNA versus Debt Collectors.
Aww.
I'm sorry. Was that too soon?
No, not too soon. But yeah, dude, there's been a lot of shit going down this year. It's going to be a weird fucking year. Me and Shaheen are planning on doing some end of the year things. If you guys go to facebook.com/group/THD podcast, you will see that it is up there somewhere. I'm sure Shaheen will post it again. But yeah, we definitely want to go over those. Have some little end of the year awards for us too. And we'll see what happens with that. I see Anthony posted this Ric Flair 30 for 30 that we talked about a few weeks ago coming up soon. I want to see this.
Yeah, the XFL one. I'm looking forward to these two documentaries. I don't know about you guys.
You can play, or is it mostly? Is it?
Yeah, you can play it if you want.
A lot of visual stuff, or like a lot of.
No, it's just Flair talking over like clips of him, like he's in the ring, taking like phantom bumps, that type of thing. If Flair present, they know classic
I'm just
clips.
making sure it's not like completely visual, and I'm not going to play it. It's just music.
No, it's not visual. It's just Flair talking. Everybody wanted to be
All
me.
right, here, let's see what we got here.
It's 42 seconds.
Everybody wanted to be me. Every man. Because I had the nicest clothes, the biggest cars, the biggest house, and the more women. And I was the best wrestler.
Wow. Flair. This is going to be good.
Did you hear the what did you think of the music they had playing in the background?
This is going to be good. That's what I'm talking about. This is going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it. And I'm not the biggest Ric Flair fan, but I like documentaries like that, so that'll be.
Plus it's Flair.
Yeah, plus it's Flair. I mean, Flair is going to be just fine. I'm definitely going to check that one out. But I don't know. Doug, you said you had some things about more things about TV. Was that it, or did you have some couple more things?
I got a couple more things. I gotta say this, and I said it earlier on in the Facebook page. Our last night, I think, was probably the best all-around night of like WWE programming in months. The SmackDown was a really good episode last night. I enjoyed 205 Live, and Talking Smack was actually really good. Even though I don't think I ever want to see Rhino dressed up as Santa Claus again.
How do you do all this wrestling in one day? You watched Raw. You watched Raw Monday. You watched Smack. You didn't watch Raw. Okay.
I didn't watch Raw Monday. I was working.
But then Tuesday, you come home and you watch SmackDown, 205 Live, and Talking Smack. That's like 5.5 hours of wrestling, right?
Well, no. SmackDown started at 8, but we got home at like 10 after 8, so we missed AJ Styles and James Ellsworth. But my brother replayed it.
Don't worry about
it. So from like 8 o'clock up until like I think Talking Smack ended at like 11:15. So. But no, to be honest with you, and again, it's going to make me sound nuts, but you know what? I think I already proved how nuts I was last week when I admitted that I used to be a fan of Van Hammer when I was a kid.
Yeah, that didn't help your many of your arguments at all, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so you know, I might as well just keep airing myself here. But the thing is that last night I found myself invested in like every single bit of WWE, in every single bit of SmackDown, of 205 Live, and of Talking Smack. Because to be honest with you, I really felt like everybody did something right last night.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, I think Miz to me has got to be one of the best heels in the company right now.
I've said this before. Whether you like or hate The Miz, you've got to admit he is a excellent heel. He's an excellent fucking heel.
Yeah.
The guy he takes the fact that you really I think he knows that a lot of people.
He's self-aware.
I think he knows a lot of people, honest to God, want to punch him in the face, and I think he just uses it to his fucking to his advantage every time. He's probably one of the best guys they have on the mic right now, as far as just throwing stuff out there. You know, I got a feeling a lot of what he says is off the cuff. But he's one of the best heels they have on the mic right now.
And let me ask you this, Box. And I'll throw this out to you too, Doug, and anybody in the chat. And I might catch some flack for this. Do you remember the big little controversy way back when? This is going back a few years, when NXT it was still a competition show, and they paired up Miz as the pro with Daniel Bryan. And everybody was like, how dare WWE put fucking Miz with Bryan Danielson? Because Bryan Danielson knows everything about wrestling. Do you think part of their rationale, in addition to trying to troll everybody with that, was thinking that, well, at the time, Bryan Danielson was still kind of bland and kind of boring and wasn't acclimated to the WWE style. Miz has always been a great talker. I haven't always been a fan of him, but we can all admit that on the mic, he's always been pretty solid as a heel. As a heel. And do you think part of that rationale was he can teach Bryan how to acclimate to the personality aspect of what it means to be in WWE? And I think that's the point, the aspect that people kind of miss when it comes to how WWE works. I don't think it was a matter of he's going to teach Bryan anything about the actual wrestling aspect. He's going to teach him how to be more of a personality, how to emote, how to, basically be a better promo guy.
Go ahead, Doug. I know it sounds like you're chomping to get in there. Go ahead, man.
All right, so the thing about the Miz is Miz would be somebody that I think would actually, he would be the perfect person to run the promo class at the Performance Center.
Yep.
Okay. Well, probably not. You know, maybe like when he kind of steps back from wrestling a little bit more. But he would be the one. He would be the one to teach the heels how to cut promos, because he has that ability to make you hate him. Last night when he said what he said to Renee Young, and I'll admit I have a huge crush on Renee Young. I wouldn't fight Dean Ambrose for her, but
fuck that.
I would fuck that dude up.
I'd take my chances because, hey, fuck it. I'd take my chances. She is fine.
I would. A hospital stay would be worth the try. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, so I have a huge crush on her, and so like when he said what he said to Renee Young, I'm just sitting there, and my brother and I are just sitting there watching it, and we're like, was he supposed to say that? And then again, they turn over to the commentators, right? Like after she slapped Miz and walked away, you turn over to the commentators. JBL's jaw is basically on the announcer's table, and to me, that is just like, okay, Miz did his job. All right, he got, again, and JBL's not the greatest commentator in the world. I do like JBL on SmackDown. All right, I like him and Morrow. Otunga's okay.
Dude, if you're going to defend
Otunga,
Otunga, I swear to God, I'm going to have to make Shaheen hang up on you right now. You can defend Demolition, you can defend Baron Corbin, but if you defend David Otunga, I'm completely offended at that point. Okay, I am offended.
I'm not technically defending Otunga. To me, sometimes he's just there, and sometimes I just when like he's trying to egg on the heels, I just want to be. Sometimes I'm just like, all right, somebody just get up and slap him. Well, first of all, I hate lawyers, so the fact that he has a law degree, I hate him anyway.
Dude, I don't know. That guy could be a cop, and I would still hate him. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
So, but did I redeem myself a little bit by?
A little bit.
You did that.
A little bit, but I don't know. I mean, for a minute, anyone who tries to defend David Otunga is not doing it on this show. I have no use for that guy. I can't believe WWE found a use for that guy. But I guess that's neither here nor there, so we'll leave that one alone.
But to be honest with you, going back to my original point before I offended you by calling Otunga, an okay announcer. But the fact is that like when you, JBL, who never shuts the hell up, and Morrow, who always tries to act professional, when you kind of get them speechless, you do your fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Miz is saying that to Renee, and Renee just like, I didn't expect her to slap him. I just kind of expected her to just kind of like shrug it off her shoulders or whatever. But when she smacked him, I'm like, okay, she's gonna smack him, and then when he gets to the backstage, Ambrose probably gonna kill him.
Nah, I think Ambrose would have the tenure in WWE in wrestling itself to know that anything. I'm sure those guys tell, hey, whatever happens in the ring, it's just in the ring. It's a character. I would say if you can't get that, you're not gonna last long in any company.
I'm actually surprised. I'm kind of like fearful because, like, she's not the best or anything, but I'll say that she's pretty competent and decent at her job, Renee Young, right? So I'm actually surprised it took WWE this long to acknowledge her relationship. But do you think that going forward, if they make her a part of the character, if they make her a part of like Ambrose's act, you think it's going to water him down even more, if that's possible?
Yes, yes, they should have just stayed away from that. Again, and don't get me wrong, I love Renee Young, but the fact is that she needs to just be the announcer. She needs the person that needs to be the person that hosts Talking Smack. Let Ambrose do the. Ambrose doesn't need a girl by his side.
Well, she has no. I mean, as of right now, she's got no training as a wrestler. So.
Right, and she
well,
doesn't want to be
she's
a wrestler.
open
If
to
you
it.
listen to some of her interviews that she's done,
She did say on Booker T's podcast that she was open to being a wrestler. She would do it if asked. But right now she has no wrestling experience, so that's going to be a good year down the road. Let's hope. Let's hope they don't Eva Marie her. Putting her in before she's ready. We'll call that Eva Marieing now.
Okay. Well, I could see her being in Ambrose's corner next time. He goes for the Intercontinental title and just kind of, like neutralize Maurice. I mean, I can see that happening. I don't know how well it would work. I mean, I would not mind seeing a cat fight between the two of them and clothes flying. I think any guy that would mind seeing that, is a little fruity.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. Jesus, Doug.
I'm not saying that there is.
What the fuck? Do I have to hit the fucking Dukes of Hazzard horn? Jesus Christ. And
Wait a minute. Oh God, I'll let Doug finish, but Box, I want to read you something that you're gonna find interesting.
Oh boy.
We were talking about Kane earlier, but
as far as I'm concerned, Renee Young.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead, Doug. Finish, please.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Doug.
You're talking about Kane. Are you going to read what I think you're going to read? Is it about Kane and Baron Corbin?
Yeah. But I'll let you finish your point, Doug. I'm sorry for interrupting, but I actually just came across it on
Kane.
Facebook.
Back to Renee Young and her hot everything. Jesus Christ.
Okay. First, so I would not mind seeing a cat fight between Renee Young and Maurice. Anybody that, would mind seeing it, that's your cup of tea. I'm not judging. To be honest with you, I am not helping my case, I know. But the thing is, I could see it. I could see that happening. Now, I don't, and I think Ambrose would actually be the one to, take the Intercontinental title off Miz. Because they really have nobody else that can do it. I mean, who else would be next? Mojo?
Jesus, I hope not.
Who?
Oh my God! The fact.
Yeah, the next.
I miss that. I miss Zack Ryder, just because of the fact that now Mojo's going to be on his own.
What happened to Zack?
He's hurt.
Oh, poor Zack. All he has to do now is stay home with Emma and bang her. Oh, no one feel bad for that piece of shit. I mean,
damn, you're a savage tonight, Bob.
Look, I mean, I love Zack Ryder. I think he's great, but listen, let me tell you something. Don't feel bad for a guy who's going home hurt to just bang Emma. Don't do it.
But his leg fucked up.
His leg.
I guess you can still fuck with your leg.
Who cares? Dude, if my leg was fucked up, that would not stop me from doing crazy shit to Emma. I'm sorry.
You would gut it out, old school stuff.
That girl.
You would gut out. You would work through the pain.
God damn that girl! I can't wait till Emelina comes out. I don't know why they're waiting so long. I'm not sure.
No, they're gonna give her the Brodus Clay treatment. By the time she debuts, it's gonna be as a completely different
if they
gimmick.
debut her as some dancing fucking baby face, I'm done. But yeah.
Well, that was her original gimmick, so.
Yeah, exactly. That was her original gimmick. They don't need to bring it back. She's great. She is another great. She's another great heel, Emma. For the women's side. I mean, I know all their eggs are in Charlotte's basket right now, but
I like to put my eggs in her basket. Man, have you seen some of the pics she's come out with lately? What is it about women outside of WWE looking better than they do in WWE? I don't get it.
She has a mole on her face. Mole. Mole. Yeah, she does. She has that little mole, which is, I just don't see why she hasn't gotten it. She's got to be making money. She cover.
Hey, but that's like
But
a
she covers
birthmark.
it up.
You know,
With,
she
she
wants to
covers
keep
it
that
up with
flair.
makeup in certain photo shoots. So just get it removed. Her face is very
Hilarious.
She has that chiseled Flair face, but
She looks like she is her father's
body
daughter.
is getting better weekly. She's actually getting a little bit of a she's getting more butt than she had because she had no ass before. Not at all, as I like to say. But she's getting a little better. She's must be doing squats or something.
Well, she was a gymnast before she got into wrestling.
She should have much. She should have much
That help?
more ass because those gymnasts. I do like watching the Olympics for the female gymnasts. I'll say that. Makes it interesting, if you will. So, all right, Doug, were you did
You know, I got to talk about Baron Corbin, like before.
I got to go take a piss. I got to
before.
All right.
Everything else I've said, that's where you draw the line.
Defending David Otunga or Baron Corbin just kind of really irks me. But anyway, you can go. Baron Corbin, I guess I can deal with more than defending David Otunga because he's just shit. But anyway.
Hey, I threw the towel in on defending David Otunga since you started to hang up on me.
If I was running the phones, oh boy. But well, according to Shaheen, I've never hung up on anyone, so you know. All right, go ahead. Go ahead with Baron Snorbin.
All right. So Baron Corbin now being in the triple threat match next week with Dolph Ziggler and AJ Styles. When I saw it happening, here's legitimately what I said to my brother last night when the match was made into a triple threat for next week. I legitimately just said to my brother, I can't wait to talk to Boxman about this on the show tomorrow.
Sadly, I haven't watched SmackDown yet, but obviously, all right. So he's in the triple. Oh my god! I just.
No, actually, it's a four-way. It's going to be AJ defending against Ziggler, defending against Corbin, and defending against that belly button. Or I'm sorry, the male slot.
There you go. The ever frowning belly button.
I'm sorry.
Look, I just don't understand. I don't know what the guy is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with that. The Ascension. I'm not quite sure what those guys are. If you want to do a character, I'm fine with it. I'm down with the characters. Do me a favor, though. Let me know what these characters are. Baron Corbin, what is he, a biker? Is he ex-football? Because all they talk about is his ex-football career. So that's fine. If he's an ex-football player, I get it. But is he a biker? Is he a Hell's Angel? Is he just a guy who, like I've said before, needs 3 spotlights to find the fucking ramp? What the fuck? Is he a post-apocalyptic biker? Is he just a guy that played football who rides a motorcycle? Because, Mongo did the same thing back in the day. I don't know if you remember. So, what is this guy?
Yeah. Okay,
He's Magnum TA.
Let me try to defend it. Although I'm going
You
to
can try.
fail miserably, obviously, anybody knows my track record. The thing about Baron Corbin, and here's why I like Baron Corbin. He impressed me at TLC in the chairs match with Kalisto. Okay? He did. Now, I think that, as far as like his wrestling ability goes, I think he's gotten a little better. His character, his personality, and his promos, they need to improve more. And I think, to be honest with you, I think they should have just had him off TV for like a couple months to keep bringing up these vignettes of him on the bike and all that, so we can kind of get into a little more of his character of him being a lone wolf.
Characters, promos, and personality. 3 out of the 4 things you need to be a wrestler still need work. Yet he's still good?
Okay, so
the silence is my answer. Thank you, sir.
Well, Box,
Go ahead.
The fact is, well, first of all, there's a lot of guys that were good wrestlers out there that sucked as characters, that had no personality. I mean, you hate most
Well,
of them,
there's a reason. Because they sucked.
Right. And the thing is that I said the guys, as far as like his wrestling ability goes, I have no problem watching him wrestle. I do like the guy. I want to give the guy a shot, which is what I'm doing. I want to see how far this goes. Now, if it's still like 6 to 9 months down the line, and we still, he's still where he is right now, then it'll just be like, you know what? Fuck this guy.
Yeah, and I mean, really, they haven't done anything with it. The only thing they bring up constantly is that he won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Yeah.
Yeah, which, to be honest with it, and again, it's already going to sound like I'm starting to switch horses here. But the fact that he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, who gives
no
a shit?
one.
Right,
So did Cesaro.
Nobody
Cesaro, and now he's with which I know a lot of people are like, him and Sheamus are good together. I think it's a waste of Cesaro, in my opinion. But at least he's got a fucking.
It's a waste of Cesaro, but it's good for Sheamus.
Look, it is. Look, at least Cesaro's got some gold on him. Tag team titles are at least prestigious, so he's got a little bit. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, but I don't know.
No, I can.
Go ahead.
I can see like your argument, as far as like Baron Corbin goes. Now, that doesn't mean that like I said, I still see a little something in him. I think he could be something down the line. He just needs to work. And the main thing he needs to work on, in my opinion, is his promos.
His promos, his look, his character, his personality. Like I said, he needs to work on 3 of the 4 things that people really look for in a wrestler. The only thing WWE knows is he's tall, he's big, and he was a former football player. That's 3 of their 4 formula right there. They don't care. They don't care about the rest, in my opinion. But
you know who should be booking Baron Corbin or doing his material? Whoever was in charge of that Breaking Ground show on the network. I don't know if you ever watched it, Box, but he actually came across better on that show. That show did a better job of getting over his natural personality better than WWE does on the main roster. If you get a chance, watch a couple of those episodes, and you'll kind of get the whole essence of like what he's going for with the lone wolf type of character that he's presenting.
Okay.
And if they actually presented it, that way on like the main shows, it would actually be over better.
But the problem is they don't present it in a way. Literally, it took them like 8 months to show the guy even riding a motorcycle. What? You've got him coming out there in a biker jacket, and it takes you this long to show him riding a motorcycle? Come on.
It's a disconnect between the NXT people and the main roster.
I mean, come on. It's like they forgot how to build characters, and that's sad because a company like WWE was known for their characters. Really, let's face it. Most of Ultimate Warrior character, Hulk Hogan total character. Obviously, we know he's a real character now. I mean, Kamala. A lot of the guys you remember from back in the day, the legends, were characters. They weren't themselves. The Attitude Era guys we might remember for being a turned up character of themselves, but not the guys from the 80s, early 90s. It's the it starts changing obviously mid 90s, but characters. And they knew how to build characters. Now it seems like they're so involved with trying to get just the story. The storyline is the most important, which never is good anyway. That they've just decided that the character is secondary compared to the storyline, and that's wrong. It sucks. It doesn't make for good storytelling, in my opinion.
Well, Box, I don't know if this will make you hate Kane more or less.
Kane stuff. Actually, you know what, Doug? You got anything else, or you good?
You know, I think I've buried myself enough tonight, so I think I'm going to take my leave.
All right, Doug. As usual, we appreciate your call, man. Thanks a lot, bro.
No doubt.
All right, man. Take it easy, Doug.
See you, Doug.
All right, Anthony. Tell me this fucking wonderful Kane story you have here.
Oh, no. It was actually tying into Baron Corbin. So apparently he's been working with Corbin behind the scenes, like teaching him how to work like a big man. And the company's been very impressed with his improvement. So he may be getting a big push soon, which might explain why he's been added to the title match next week on SmackDown. Kane's been working with him, and they've been impressed with how fast he's kind of adapted and learned to kind of like work like a big man, or at least work like a big man in WWE. So it looks like he's going to be getting a big push going forward, which kind of leads credence to my point of why they keep certain guys around, Big Show, Kane, to pass on that knowledge.
Yeah, look, I understand the pass on the knowledge, shit like that, but I don't know, man. It's just, listen, if they start to maybe invest in the character of Baron Corbin and let me know what the fuck he's about, maybe that'll give me a little bit of fucking rah-rah behind him. But right now, I just don't see it. I think the guy's horrible. I do. I'm sorry, and I know Doug's probably sitting there steaming right now. I'm sorry, Doug, but I just think the guy's horrible. Maybe if they build his character, he can get better. I'm not saying he can't get better. Everyone has room to improve. He can definitely get better. I could change my mind. I've changed my mind on many people, except Bret Hart. But many other people I've changed my mind on. But I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Baron Corbin to me is just shit. Another WWE has this weird hard-on for former football players. They think any former football player can be a fucking wrestler. They really do. I don't know why, but they do. Some people have made, look, I mean, you got guys like Ron Simmons who made it great. I mentioned Mongo McMichaels earlier. He was another one who, Goldberg. That's great, but think about how many former football players have really made it in WWE. Once again, you can count them probably on one hand. I miss Vader, by the way.
So what do you think it speaks to? You think it speaks to, like, desperation, or just, like, they're just, like, starved for anybody that they think could be, like, a star? Because it's like, it's almost like they're reaching out to these football players, because they need talent. Anybody that they think they can make money off of, they're going to utilize, obviously. And two, you think it's just that they think they can make anybody a star? Because, like, remember that long stretch of time where they were just picking up random underwear model for women? Like, and say, we can make you a wrestler.
And then suddenly a lot of those guys are gone. And they're picking up all these indie guys now. I wonder why. Probably because those underwear models are not fucking easy to deal with. And half of them have gone online after they leave the company and told horrible stories about NXT. You know, it's just, quit hiring the fuck. That's the problem. Their ego says they can turn anyone into a wrestler. There's David Otunga should be a fucking proof of that. It doesn't work. You cannot turn anyone into a wrestler. Eva Marie, if you want to bring up a woman, it doesn't work. Eva Marie is a hot piece of ass, and that's all she is. I'm sorry. She can't. She's not great in the ring. Brian can't. Stone Cold could teach her to do promos that I still don't think she'd get over. They don't care. You know what people want to see fucking Eva Marie doing? Porn. I'd love to see that. That'd be great. That'd be great. I would love to see that. But I think everyone would agree with me there. I don't know, man. Anyway, I got really nothing else. You got anything else, man? It's been long enough. We're going on 3 hours here, so.
Yeah. Tact.
All right.
Nothing else. It's a holiday week.
It is. We haven't mentioned it once, but we will definitely say Merry fucking Christmas to everybody. I don't know if Shaheen's even here to do plugs. Shaheen, you awake? You there? You alive? Let me see if I see any blue moving. Shaheen. Nope. All right. Well, that's all right. You guys know where we are. We are THT Podcast. Find us on iTunes, THT Podcast. Find us on YouTube, same thing. Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, all over the place. Don't forget, this week we will not be doing a THT movie review. I'm not going to be around, Anthony. But next week we will. Stay tuned to our Facebook THT movie review for that. And on that note, I say we get the fuck out of here because it has been long. I hope everyone has a really good Christmas this week. I know it's fucking freezing cold everywhere, so stay warm. Have a Merry Christmas, and
step on your
there you
mistletoes
go.
and have a good
Sneak
time.
in your mistletoe. Be safe, everybody. Roads are fucking already getting crowded. I was driving around today, and I wish I wasn't, and the roads are already getting shitty. So take care of yourself out there, and we will see y'all next week. Later.
Merry Christmas.
Pack her ass, my good man. Time to kick back, take some biz, and smoke some
There it
weed.
is. Merry Christmas, everybody. Later.